the members, the pastors, and everybody at the Dominion Center. And in particular, I'm happy to be today the guest speaker for the Thanksgiving Zoom seminar of 2022. Rest assured, by the special grace of God, I'll do justice. So it is not by my power, but this is also something I love to do. And if I'm allowed, I would like to share my slides, and I'll keep within the 40 minutes of talk. And I am so excited to be speaking to great gentlemen and ladies gathered here this morning. So I'll start with sharing my slides, and we'll be going on. Okay. Okay, if we can see the slide, the topic is innovative ways to create multiple streams of income. And therefore, the essence is that you will enjoy passive income for a lifetime. My name is Dr. Abiodun Oshiemi, and I'm showing this slide to see that people do not recruit people, but people create value, and to see also how things have changed over time. Things have changed over time because before, if a man had this number of degrees, he will be regarded as a successfully confused person. However, we are no longer in the era of specialists, but we are back again to the area of generalists. So originally I started out as a scientist and then a medical doctor. However, I realized that speaking and teaching will never run out of fashion. So I decided also to do a PhD in management and some other things. But I'm the CEO of Harvard Associates. And one of the things I've been doing over the last 25 years is to create value to people. And I also teach business in the university. I worked severally in different times with the British Medical Research Council. So, I worked also in the past as a doctor, but I'm just trying to remind all of us, the essence of this different background was for me to be relevant in different decades of the year. So at Harvard Associates, what we've been doing is training, teaching, and doing things like this. What will people learn for attending this training? Number one, we will understand the fundamentals of growing rich wisely and essential money skills. We will understand the thinking process of rich people and the business toolkits. We will learn how to create multiple streams of income at any age. We'll appreciate that anyone can earn income from multiple streams, and we'll learn 10 innovative ways to create multiple streams of income and enjoy income for a lifetime. So let's get started. What does innovation mean? What does multiple streams mean? Why should it be for a lifetime? Why shouldn't you walk like a rat and live like an elephant? Now, the point is this. Welcome to the 21st century. In the 21st century, you are going to have people who want different things. They are very problematic. They are very demanding. They love brands. They are not loyal. They complain a lot. I mean, they have access to information. Therefore, in the 21st century, you need to have the following skills. You need to understand what it means when they say verbal communication. You need to understand how to have troubleshooting skills to survive. Manage time. Time is one tool that you cannot afford to waste. You need to understand how to cope with pressure. Empathy, put yourself in other people's shoes. Remember when they say they don't like a product, don't think that your product will be the best and so they have no choice. They have a choice and they have a voice. Listen to them. Also be proactive. Learn to play with the teams in your organization. Have the self-confidence. These are interpersonal skills you need to be a self-starter. That said, it is a statement of fact. And so let us disabuse our mind. It is a statement of fact that anyone can earn multiple streams of income. And in this seminar, we will focus on people who desire, so through their hard work in the enterprise space. This is also a very important seminar because we will all desire to be prosperous, because the word of God says that it will make us prosperous as our own heart desires, in health and wealth, and therefore you enjoy our wealth in good health. And it is hoped that we will earn passive income for a lifetime. In this training, we will also focus on 10 multiple streams of income that demonstrate how you can even make billions of dollars. And people have gone through the same path. We shall explain why and how very rich people think differently from other group of workers. We shall focus on the mathematics of earning from passive income. So there is the talk side and the mathematics side. We shall also discuss practical steps of creating multiple streams of income at any age. Therefore, innovative means introducing or using new ideas or method. Income means money that is earned from work, investment, business, so it is legal money. Multiple streams means continuous flow of income from more than one source. And passive income means income earned by tending not to take an active or dominant part. And what is being rich? Rich means having a lot of money and possessions, also being affluent or wealthy. Now, I've gotten this from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So I would like to tell us that there is something called the mindset, and the mindset of rich people is what I want all of us to adopt now. And God has said that is his desire for us to have, to be prosperous. Once your mindset changes, everything on the outside will change along with it. So the power of mindset, therefore, is to become wealthy requires a can-do mindset. I can also be rich. Also a belief mindset. I believe. You see, it's when Christ wanted to heal someone, he says, do you believe? And sometimes when I do practice as a medical doctor and I see people who are ill for a long time, I ask, do you believe you will be healed? Therefore, you need that belief. And so this is the kind of mindset people need to have. Now, let's get started. Any perceptions, any similarity? Bill Gates. What does Bill Gates mean? Warren Buffett. These are men who are not only entrepreneurs, but they are the richest people in the world. What does Zoom mean? What does Google mean? Zoom, oh, well, that's where we're on. A platform that unites people, big, global. Google, big, global. So these are the kind of things that must have. So the mindset and traits of rich people must start from vision. My people perish for lack of vision. If you ask anybody, you will be surprised. If you ask anybody, do you have a personal vision? They will scratch their head. Yet my people perish for lack of vision. Therefore, let me teach and let me remind all of us, I have a personal vision, and my personal vision is to create extra value for individuals and groups in areas of knowledge and wealth. To create extra value in knowledge and wealth for individuals and groups. Therefore, when I was invited to do this, I jumped at it because this is one of the reasons why I live. Now, you need action as well. Vision without action is daydreaming. And the saddest part why people are poor, and when I mean poor, lack, have nothing, is because we cannot define what a goal is. People mistake an idea. For example, I want to own a house. I want to sign on a mortgage. I want to buy a car. They believe that is a goal. No. Anything you want to accomplish without a set time is not a goal. Therefore, many people drift, waste their time, and remain poor. Same applies to organization. So if there is nothing I want us to learn today is a goal is what you want to actualize with specific plan, with a specific time. Anybody who engages you in any venture without putting a time is only there to waste your time, and time means money. Time means money, and that's why at the dot we started, I have a time to fulfill, and that's how it should be. Perseverance also, we will see when we go on what gives wealth. So vision, action, goals, perseverance gives wealth. So what is the good news? Which is easier, to be rich or to be poor? Many people will also say it is easier to be poor, and why I say that is 90% of people will say so. Now, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. If you tell a Jew it is easy to be poor, he will ask you, won't he do his father's work? Won't he demonstrate what he has learned? Because that is how they are programmed. Therefore, we have neuro-linguistic programming, which means the brain language programming. And so remind yourself always, anyone can be rich, so can I. We are still going to get to the multiple streams, but we need to do what they call foundation. The depth of the foundation determines the height of the wall. So I don't just want to throw people into water and say, get to swim. No, there are ways in which you must understand the requirements. And so first is you need to tell yourself, anyone can be rich and so can I. Some people already believe in their families and their ancestral pattern. They are destined for doom. That is a lie. Remember always, failing to plan is planning to fail. So when you don't plan, you can't succeed. Also, goals always count. Therefore, always set goals. Always set goals. Some of us know football, some of us know athletics, but trust me, it is only the team that scores a lot of goals to get the highest points that succeeds to be the winner. The points matters and the goals count. Also remember always, no goals, no games. Many people will tell you, as I'm in England, as I'm in America, I am going to buy a house. They never buy a house because they never set the goal. They only are having what you call dreams and talks. You've got to chase your goal that will be measurable by time. Also, always affirm to yourself, I can do it, I can win. I was told to come and present. I didn't want to know how soon or how near. The mindset is already programmed. I can do it. And never affirm, I can't do it. I can't win. The moment you say you can't, forget about success. Understanding the practical steps to becoming a billionaire, therefore, includes the fundamentals of growing rich wisely. Now, listen to this. Fundamentals of growing rich wisely. In other words, you've got to put wisdom along with success. The essential money skills, the importance of having multiple streams of income, and the mathematics of becoming rich. Let me tell you one good news. Over the last 10 days, you saw my background. I'm a medical doctor, I'm a forensic scientist, I'm a crime investigator, I'm a business teacher in the university, I'm a gifted leadership trainer, a gifted speaker. But I'll tell you what, there must be a mathematics of getting rich. And so within this last few days, just to come and talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm earning some income. Over the next 1 week, I'm doing some investigation forensic. I'm earning some income. And over the last few weeks, I was training some organization. I earned some income. The income I earned over the last 10 days is what some people are going to earn in United Kingdom and United States in a year. That is true. And that is a fact, and I understand this, but it is to the glory of God because of discipline and hard work. So I just want you to understand that you've got to understand these principles. The secrets of getting business and retaining clients in business, because we are now going to go into multiple streams of income. And I want you to screenshot or write this, is one. You need to understand people and treat them as kings. The heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? Therefore, no matter how beautiful your church, your work, your family, your business, if you cannot understand people, you cannot prosper, because in people, you have traitors, you have supporters, you have deniers, you have competitors. The heart of man is desperately wicked. So you've got to keep knowing people. Roosevelt said he will pay so much to know people to succeed. Rockefeller said if there's anything he will do for success, he will have to understand people. Therefore, understand people and treat them as kings. I understood I was coming to train the gentleman and lady in this Dominion Center. I needed to know his Dominion Center and not call it Dominic Center. You have to be serious. I understood I was talking to great men and women. I had to make sure I signed on when everyone signed on before my time. And therefore, I have to show respect. People are not tools of fools. Therefore, do not manipulate them. Don't waste their time. Don't give them excuses. Also, have a positive mental attitude always. I'm going to make it. I'm not going to give excuse. I'm going to respect them, because your attitude is the critical success factor in everything you do. Your attitude is the prophet that people perceive even without you opening your mouth. Your attitude speaks even without you acting. Therefore, have a positive mental attitude. Don't embarrass them. Don't abuse them, because you need their resources. Also, listen to the voice of customers. Listen to their voices. 70% of customers leave people because they are not valued, not because they don't have products. When you do not value or respect people, they drop you like a bad habit. Last but not the least is have emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the new science of success. It teaches you to be aware of yourself. It teaches you to manage yourself. Therefore, you will be able to manage and relate with people, whether they are Jew, whether they are Christians, whether they are Muslims, whether they are Kenyans, whether they are Ghanaians, whether they are Nigerians. It teaches you to be socially aware, to be respectful and very good relation. Remember, you want to do business. Finally, the three magical words that will make you the most successful customer service person: learn to use kind words. Never have any dealing with bad words. Use kind words. Oh, thank you. Oh, please. I hope you're fine. Oh, we respect you. We appreciate you. Also use graceful gestures. Would you like the product warm? Would you like to sit down? Would you like the AC turned off? Or would you like us to support you in? Use thoughtful gestures, and last, let them feel the passion. Passion attracts people. Passion energizes people. So it draws people towards you. So that is the secret. It is the magical word that will make your customers patronize you and remain. You need fundamental building works. You cannot talk of multiple streams of income without thinking deep, think big, because you want to make it big. Plan, be action driven. Talk is cheap. Leadership skills, learn to set goals, relate with people. You've got to also do this, be sincere. Don't fool people. Don't, because you fool people. They are not fools. They are not tools. Manage your time. Time is something that comes at a cost. Manage yourself. Be frugal. Educate yourself like we're doing. That is why I appreciate what Dominion Center is doing. You cannot blame them if you do not train them. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Focus also on success. Fear means false evidence appearing real. Be generous with knowledge. Be generous with love. It doesn't kill. Have the energy. And then the toolkit. So now we are starting the multiple streams of income. Number one, you've got to have a registered business, because people are going to pay into the business. You need a bank account. You need to define the product or services you need to sell. in exchange for money. Like I told you, this week alone, I made enough money for the year. So number one, what did I do? I have a bank and business account. I have 3 different products. I'm a forensic scientist and a crime investigator. So I got money from there. I'm also a business teacher. I got money from there. I'm a company trainer. I got money from there. So you've got to have the business and the name. Then you need to have a vision. How do you want to be perceived? I tell every client, I only have one statement, which I write in all my email: rest assured of our commitment to excellence. That is the only thing I know, and that is the only thing I give. You can't give what you don't have. My vision is to deliver excellence. Mission, what is in it for them? Then set goals. Goals must be smart. What income you desire to accomplish. Therefore, write it down. 1 billion, 2025. That is the programming of your mind, is the psychology of self-concept. The values, what are your business and moral codes? What is your superior brand quotient? Investment tips. Now, so what do you do on earning? Never spend on single income, make investment to create a second source. So it means if you are working as an employee, start learning to sing, to blow the sax, to play the keyboard. Do this as a weekend. Do something, learn to cook. On spending, if you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things you need. So it means that to become prosperous is not just working and having multiple streams. It still will make you poor if you don't understand. On savings, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. On taking risk, never test the water with both feet. An investment, don't put all your eggs in a basket. So to become rich, therefore, means you must understand the mathematics also of investing. And I'll give the slides to the facilitators and they will know how to spread it. But you've got to also know keeping the money under your pillow is different from earning 1%. Also, you need to learn to think. If I ask people now, in the United Kingdom, there is gas and energy crisis. In Nigeria, there is gas and energy crisis. What does this impact have on your business? What does it have on your person? Many people will say, well, God knows it's been more difficult a time now. God knows we've been struggling more. No, that's not how you should think about it. You've now got to start thinking in an analytical, evaluative, and creative manner. So just set up a dashboard. Since the increase in the gas and energy fee, I have spent 10% more on going to work, 20% more on keeping my clothes clean, 30% more, and then you can now understand how much harder you've got to work. Therefore, being analytical is understanding what led to that, and being evaluative is challenging yourself. If I'm going to live over the next 20 years, what kind of income will I do? First, do the analysis and then go for it. So the innovative ways of creative, this is the moment of truth. Determine what you want. Determine what you want and who you want to be. So now we are getting started. How much do you want to earn as passive income on a monthly and yearly basis? So you write £20,000. Okay. If it's £20,000, and that will be 10% of the asset, so you must have £200,000 somewhere. If it's £5,000, then you must have £50,000 somewhere, because now we're doing real business. What are your personal strengths and weaknesses? Therefore, what business can you do? What are the opportunities and threats in your environment? So do you want to be a dreamer, a doomed person, or a doer? You've got to ask yourself, I want to be a doer. Do you want to be rich from passive income? Therefore, vision without action is a dreamer. Action without vision is a doomed person. You're just running around and you do not know where you are going. And vision plus action is equal to conviction. Therefore, I'm saying to get started, The two most important criteria for running multiple streams of income is number one, you need discipline. And I'll show you the different businesses now. You've got to be disciplined. Set of rules and regulation which are to be followed while undergoing any task of activity. Being honest, hardworking, and motivated. Therefore, if you want to be a motivational speaker, you've got to be disciplined, you've got to study, you've got to work hard, you've got to be mentored, you've got to be trained. Bill Gates, Michael Dell, all of them did this. Number two is you've got to have the grit. Grit is stamina, toughness, determination, courage. In all the business schools, Harvard and everywhere, the two most important criteria. Therefore, do not spend your time studying multiple streams of income if you understand or if you know that you are not going to be disciplined and you are not going to have the stamina. In other words, after 2 months, you're out of the ship. No, if you want to be a saxophonist, you've got to learn. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Therefore, the most powerful, successful criteria is you also must write down. So now let's get started. Write down a specific dates that you want to set up multiple businesses. In other words, I want to be a caterer, I want to be a teacher, and I want to be a motivational speaker. 2025, write them down. I have to register the businesses, write them down. Write it down and write the figure. It programs your mind. Then, e.g., to sell 200 laptops between June 4, 2023 and June 4, 2025. So 200 laptops in 2 years, 100 a year, and then you can divide it monthly. Again, to establish one business between June 2024 and August. You've got to write these things down and list it. The rules for success, therefore, means you have to have a vision. That's Google. You need to have a plan. Look at Zoom. They were ready to take all of us, and that's how we are training now. You need to set goals. Microsoft, Windows 19, Windows 20, Windows 25, Windows this. You've got to commit to excellence. Look at Rolls-Royce, a perfect car. Set values, Accenture. Fear not to start, Facebook. He left school to get started. Be passionate to your customers. Walt Disney. Peace of mind, Rolls-Royce, Perseverance, Zoom. Zoom lacked resources, but was ready for COVID. And when COVID came, they moved from dozens of dollars to billions. And then be confident. If you do not understand anything, remember, you cannot give what you do not have. What are the different income generating business? You can screenshot this, you can write it down. One, you can be an online bookseller. The second richest man in the world has no content, but he owns Amazon. He owns he owns under 200 billion. Information technology, Bill Gates, Facebook services, Zuckerberg, they just live on content. So I'm not talking things that you cannot do, or many people are not in the space, and you can still keep your job, your 9-to-5 job, your 7-to-4 job. You can keep it and do this. IT software solutions, fintechs, large fashion retailer, Amico Ortega, these are billion supermall owners, manufacturers like Aliko Dangote, Airbnb. So it means it's not about being black, being white, being Jew. It is about being vision-led. It is about being goals-driven. Uber. And you can see in many countries now, they have different vision. YouTube, we're recording live. We're live on YouTube. It is over a $160 billion company, and you can also give content there. It's free. So do not say you have no clue. I have given over 12 different kinds of businesses you can key into. Now look at the list of highest paid YouTubers. Dude Perfect, 20 million. Anastasia, Red. You understand? Jeffree Star, Preston, PewDiePie. People follow these people. Remember, you do not need to understand how to load onto YouTube. You can hire anyone to handle that aspect for you. Just share your talent, services, and products. Therefore, you don't even need to own or have, but register a business, have an identity. In the conclusion, to earn money from multiple streams of income, you've got to commit to service excellence. You've got to commit to operational excellence. You've got to commit to learning. You cannot succeed without learning. And therefore, what are the traits of the rich people? They think deeply. They keep company of wealthy people. Change your friends, change your locality, change your language, change your prayer points, change your energy level. You've got to do that. Also, believe in destiny. He says, do you believe you shall be healed? So you've got to believe that you can be healed. Be frugal, transform failure into success. There is always problem in opportunity and opportunity in problems. What are the characteristics of rich people? They are determined, they are result-focused. Look, let me tell you for nothing, the moment I knew I was coming to talk to the Dominion Center, I was overjoyed. Talking to people from different backgrounds, result-focused, passionate, loyal, committed, energetic, scalable, confident, creative, ambitious, adaptive. This is what the world, and so the 10 innovative ways and streams of income that you can think of, the 10 innovative ways to create multiple streams of income and enjoy is at the following one. You can invest in mutual funds. Now, this is not storytelling. This is real life. So you can write it down. One, invest in mutual funds. You are engaged in a business. You are working for the government, so you cannot do business, but you can invest in mutual funds. It guarantees a certain return. Two, you can make YouTube videos. You can write a book. You can teach people how to speak Kiswahili. You can teach Twi. You can teach Afrikaans. You can teach Yoruba. Purchase high-yield dividend stocks. Sell your product and services online. You can become a business silent partner in an organization if it's not in conflict with your business or employment purpose. Write a book and collect royalties. Chinua Achebe, Wale Soyinka, so many people. Turn your car into a billboard. People can do that. Tell them you live in a high-density neighborhood. You want them to brand your car. Invest in real estate investment and trust. Become a commission agent. Why can't you go and meet a seller of houses and say, you know what, if I tell my friends what's going to happen, let me tell you, I belong to a group of 15 women. I said, I'm a man, there are 2 men, I'm with 13 women, we're 15, and we contribute just about £100 every month. Therefore, 15 people contribute £1,500 every month. We have done this for 20 years. You do the maths. Just £100. I'm not saying start with £2,000, just £1,500 a month times 12, £18,000 times 20. And that's just by the side. We've bought so many stocks, done so many things. So it is that easy. But you've got to get people of like minds and work on it. Also, you can outsource. Work with Uber, work from home. I've always loved when I was living in England to be a black cab driver. I liked it because it was when you get your knowledge, the badge of knowledge, you know, you walk when you want to walk, you get the city clients, and then you do other things. And so you've got to make up your mind, but that's why you can see I'm a medical doctor, 1 stream of income. I'm a speaker, 1 stream of income. I'm a forensic scientist, 1 stream of income. I'm a crime investigator, 1 stream of income. I also am a child of God, another anointing. Therefore, you've just got to say, I have to have different sources, write it down and write the amount. Now, thank you very much. We've done very well. So the objectives were to understand the fundamentals of growing rich wisely, understand thinking process of billionaire toolkit, learn how to, so the billionaire toolkit, register the business, write the areas, get on it, and also anyone can become a billionaire, therefore think. Now, how to become a billionaire requires a mind and eyes for results. By flashing the screen, if I ask how many How many objects can you see? I'm sure you can see a cup, you can see a rook, you can see, listen carefully. The more you stay on this picture, the more disciplined and determined, the more you will see. Therefore, our company, in a nutshell, Harvard Associates, specializes in talks and seminars like this, and I thank our people for engaging us. And so this is the last slide. I say thank you to everyone, and I've tried to also keep within the time frame. So on this note, Harvard Associates, where I'm the Chief Executive Officer, says a very big thank you to the members of Dominion Center, the leadership and the guests and the members for inviting me to be the special guest speaker. Once again, my name is Dr. Abiodun Oshemi on the screen, and I say thank you very much. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor, for sharing those wonderful, wonderful insights. We really, really appreciate it. As I said to you earlier on, everyone this morning, that Doctor was ready. He was ready. He didn't have to get ready. He was already ready from early this morning, and you can see from what he's delivered, and he's addressed the mindset, the foundation for everything, and he addressed clearly the inner workings of the human mind in order for us to be able to build. So thank you so much for that, Doctor. We appreciate this. Now we'd like to go into the questions and answers. And please, if you can just use the chat. So if you just go on your screen to your right, if you just click on it, there are 3 buttons there, and then click on the chat, and then just put your questions in there. As I said earlier on, please keep your questions short, concise, and relevant to what Doctor has presented to us this morning. So please, we'll keep an eye on those questions. While we're waiting, I'm just going to ask if our senior pastor, Pastor Sam, has anything he would like to say. Pastor Sam, would you like to say anything while we're waiting for the questions, sir? Okay. While we're waiting for the questions, Doctor, could you please put the name of your company in the, I know you mentioned it, but could you please put the website in the chat for us, please?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you. Whew, there's a lot to digest there that Doctor's actually shared. We are so blessed. We are so blessed at the Dominion Center for our pastors putting such a wonderful event together. This would cost thousands if you actually go to seminars, to get this information. So thank you, Pastor Sam and Pastor Betsy. And let's take advantage of this. Let's go back. I believe this will be available on YouTube. Let's go back and study this and put it into practice in our lives. So I'm still waiting for questions. It looks like Doctor did such a wonderful job. There's no questions. My goodness.
Okay, can I just share one of the greatest problems? So I've shared my email and phone number because we are rebuilding the group website, but my details is there for everybody. Please feel free to call me and say from Dominion. Now, let me tell you the greatest enemy to success, so it doesn't look that straightforward. Now, if I ask people, why don't you have 10,000 pounds? Why don't you have 50,000 pounds? After all, you come to the Dominion Center. The reason is simple. There is something called excusitis. People already have excuse. Oh, I just work for government. Oh, I just work as a teacher. So people, then you ask them, what about Rooney? Oh, he's a footballer. What about Beyonce? Or, you know, she's a singer. So because the mind readily encourages you to quickly give an excuse. So because people readily have an excuse, they never admit that, but they did not plan, but they did not prepare, but they do not have a goal. So just imagine if I were invited some days ago to speak at the Dominion Center. I don't have a phone. I don't have the skills to train on Zoom. You know, I'm just going to keep losing businesses. So the point I'm trying to make is people are usually poor or failures, even in exams, because they do not write a time, so that when you say, oh, Sam, you said you were going to build a house in 2025, it's 2025, then it says I'm 80% completed. So you can benchmark it, oh, it's 2025, oh, I succeeded in 2024. Therefore, what I'm trying to emphasize is people can always give you exercise. Oh, we didn't do this program this morning because we couldn't see a cable for the Zoom. Oh, we are not on YouTube because the engineer did not come. So people have a passion for giving excuses to tell you, you see, I'm from Nigeria, Rooney is from UK, and then he got a contract. Please, excuse will only make you poor. Action will always make you prosperous. Therefore, 1,000 words is not equal to one single action. Take action and benchmark your progress. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have one question here for you, sir. And the question is, how does time management contribute to wealth creation?
That is a very fantastic question. And let me first clap from the person. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us admit here that for every minute we are here, every minute I'm also here, I'm using energy, I'm using my data bundle for the phone and internet service provider. I'm also perhaps keeping this place cool. Therefore, there is a cost every minute. And so many people do not understand what time means. If I ask 99% of the people on this forum, how much should you earn per hour? You will hear 50,000 pounds, 10,000 pounds, 100 pounds, 60 pounds. It means people don't understand. So quickly, let me first do the mathematics, and people from today will always appreciate. If you earn 1 million pounds a year, I'm just saying, just any footballer earns 1 million pounds a year, or an employee earns 1 million pounds a year. That employee works for 260 days, it means it's earning 31 pounds, 3,831 pounds a day. And if you divide 31 by 8 working hours, it means the person earns 478 pounds per hour, and therefore he earns about 500 pounds per hour. Now, it means if you earned 10,000 pounds, 100,000 pounds per hour, per year, 100,000 pounds, it means you earn about 50 pounds per hour. And if you earn 10,000 pounds per year, it means you earn 5 pounds per hour. Therefore, if you know you earn 100,000 pounds, 50 pounds per hour, and people tell you to come into a time-wasting venture of 4 hours, you already understand you are wasting 200 pounds. If you earn 10,000 pounds per year, you already understand you are wasting 20 pounds. And therefore, when you do not plan, you are wasting your time and you are losing money. And therefore, when you call rich people, you know what? Can we hang around for fun? Can we do this? They say no, because they understand the minute and value of time. And for anybody into project management just operates within 3 frames. TCQ, time cost specification. In other words, time is money. When you delay people's time, you are costing them more. So all I'm therefore saying is time management is a critical success factor, most critical success factor for prosperity. Thank you very much for that mini lecture.
Thank you, sir. Do we have your permission to share your slides with our members, sir? Hello, doctor. Hello? Hello, doctor. Do we have permission to share your slides?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. So my answer is yes. My answer is yes. You have my permission. I shall be sending the slides subsequently to some of the organizers, and you'll send it to your colleagues. That's it.
Thank you.
So the answer is yes. You have my permission.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Please, can I say something, Doctor? Dr. Abiodun?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Abiodun Oshiyemi?
Yes.
This is
Pastor Yes, that's Samuel.
Correct. God bless you.
That's very correct.
For that, God bless you for such a wonderful, wonderful presentation. I said to myself, wow, every member of Dominion Center, every member in our community, every member, every person on this earth should have been on this seminar. Very invigorating, inspiring words and presentation and teaching. God bless you very much. And I can assure you that your labors will not be in vain. You've not wasted your time at all. I think a lot of people have questions, but I mean, they are just letting this sink in. I definitely will speak to Mr. Emmanuel Loke, and I really thank God for his life, because it was through him that we got you on today, so that we can get you back and on a bigger scale. But thank you very much. And I must say that I was really, and I've been really been blessed. So I want to just say that special thank you to you, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Most appreciated, highly honored.
Amen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
So thank you so much, Dr. Abiodun. As Pastor said, this would not be the last time you'll be speaking to the Dominion Center. So we appreciate you, and thank you for adding value.
How do we get to see this on the YouTube? What do I need to search for on the YouTube?
We would send you the information. Richard from the office would send you the information, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, and I wish you happy celebration. Am I permitted to excuse myself now?
You are, sir. You are. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
I wish you.
Let's all put our hands together for him. Actually, what a wonderful. All of you.
Excellent. We've started on a very high note.
That's right. Yes.
And he's going to continue like this. So, guys, I'd like to introduce the next speaker, who is no stranger to us at the Dominion Center. He's a seasoned accountant per excellence, and he's here to talk about taxation and probate. Please help me welcome our very own Elder Emmanuel Oloke. Welcome, Mr. Oloke.
Thank you. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. We thank God for Dr. Abiodun for that wonderful lecture. And I want to also thank Pastor Sam and Pastor Betty for taking the opportunity to organize this investment opportunities for members. It's not only, it's all part of the kingdom survival, and we thank God that our Papa is leading us in good things. Am I able to share my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Right. We are talking about probate matters and tax update today. The Men's Fellowship had this talk some last year or 2 years ago, and pastor said, well, it's good for the whole members of the church to actually benefit from knowledge of these things. When we talked about it that time to the Men's Fellowship, it was more of 2020 and 2021 tax year. So we're now in 2022. My name is Emmanuel Oloke. That's my background. Chartered accountant, probate practitioner, licensed by Institute of Chartered Accountants, England and Wales. I'm a will writer, and I'm from Stan Kelly & Co. There is, I just kept this version of the Bible, amplified version, saying Isaiah 38:1, God's message to King Hezekiah. I just picked a version of it that just says, set your house in order. With all the multiple streams of income that we have now embarked on, and we're looking forward to start enriching ourselves, we also need to set our house in order. So that is why this lecture is coming in. The learning objectives of this talk: basic understanding of what probate is, the need for probate, joint tenancy, tenancy in common, what is a will, property passing without a will, the reason for making a will, lasting power of attorney, LPA, and we talked about, we'll be talking about inheritance tax, capital gains tax, and the general tax rates in the current tax year. I know a lot of people know about probate. They must have heard about probate. They must have heard about will writing or doing a will. You know, probate is a court process of someone applying for legal right to deal with someone's assets and liabilities after the person's demise, that's after death. If the person left a will, you apply for what they call grant of probate. If the person has no will, you will apply for letters of administration. The person who applies for the will is the executor, is called the executor. Before the executor or the next of kin named in the will can claim, transfer, sell, or distribute any of the deceased assets, you need the letter of probate or a letter of administration, which you have to apply to the court for. Do you know, without a will, the government can take control of your money? 2/3 of UK adults still don't have a will, nor do 70% of those with children under 18 have any have planned any will for themselves. So just sometimes, why should everyone have a will? A will, sometimes known as your last will and state testament, is a legal binding document. It contains tailor-willed and instructions that entail what you inherit from your estates and what you should incur when, what should happen when you die. After a will acts, often a will acts to ease burden and remove obstructions. It includes funeral arrangements and distribution of possessions alongside other wishes, like who should bring your children up if they are still little. Preparing your will Property is essential as your wishes otherwise may be invalid. If you prepare a will and it's not properly done, it may become invalid. So if you've done because a will, you can do it yourself. If you do it nicely and you don't do it properly, you might find that at that day, it will be rejected. So about 27 million adults in the UK still haven't prepared a will. So why is probate needed? Probate is needed. It gives the executor the legal authority to distribute the estate of the person who has died. He or she deals with all the banks, land registry, mortgage lenders, pensions, insurance, credit cards of the deceased, collect all the assets and liabilities of the person who has died, pays for the funeral expenses, all debts and taxes of the deceased, distribute the net surplus according to his or her will instructions. In the process of probate or will writing, you have what they call co-ownership, where two or more people own interest in the same assets. So you now have what they call husband and wife owning their mortgage, their house. So that is called joint tenancy. So where all tenants are deemed to own the whole asset. And the second tenancy is tenancy in common, whereby each person has got 50% or, as the case may be, 40 or 60% according to their contribution, according to their share of the property. Joint tenancy features like husband and wife, each co-owner is entitled to the whole of the co-asset. They do not own shares of the asset. You don't own part of it. You own all of it. So a wife owns the whole of the asset. The husband owns the whole of the assets. So there's nothing like, oh, this belongs to me, that belongs to you. When it comes to owning the property they own as a mortgage, there is a right of survivorship. That means when somebody dies, automatically all the property passes on to the next person, who is the wife or the joint partner. Joint tenants dies, his or interest passes to the surviving joint tenant. The process continues until only one owner remains. The property or asset may not be left by a will. You don't have to put that property of where you live or you own jointly. You don't have to put it on a will because it parts without a will. The rules of intestacy do not apply to the property. So for example, if you don't have a will and a husband and wife, the husband dies and there is no will, the property automatically passes to the wife unless there is an issue with the will or there is a stipulation in the agreement. There's what they call tenancy in common. This affects only your interest in the property. For example, two people coming to buy a property, 50-50 or 60-40%. Now, tenancy in common you have your own part of it. So if that person dies, that part will be sold and his own share will be given to whoever he states in his will. It can exist equally. You can have it separate, differently. It can be divided in agreed order. So a lot of us have known what they call a will. So now the legal definition of a will is a legal document that sets out your wishes regarding the distribution of your estate. The net assets, that means what you own minus what you don't own or people you owe. For example, your mortgage has equity, the value of the property, then minus what you owe the bank, which is then now gives you what is balance that belongs to you, because you need to pay the lender off. Otherwise, unless of course, if you have paid off the mortgage, then you own 100% of it. You also have in your will, you can say who will take care of your children under 18 after your demise. Wishes regarding your funeral arrangement, you can have it in your will. Failure to prepare a will leaves decision about your estate in the hands of judges or estate officials. This may also cause family disputes and strife. I've seen cases whereby somebody dies and for many years, over 20 years, the family are still arguing who is entitled to this, who is not entitled to that, because the will is not done and it's not stable. To be sure of everything after your demise, try to do a will. Even the government encourages it, but they don't tell you because they know it's another source of their income in case one doesn't do a will. So some questions to think about. Why should the government decide where your money assets go to after your demise? That is, after you've gone. You have worked so hard for what you have. You have paid more than enough tax already. Should you not decide where your wealth goes after your demise? Should not that be your right? Most people will say yes to the above questions. But do you take the time to do the will? Some basic facts. About 75% of UK adults have no will. About 70% of adults with children under 18 have no will. This is a risk, a huge risk. Without a will, you could find one. Your property is handed to the wrong people. Expensive legal disputes destroys your wealth. You have worked so hard, because if there's a dispute among the family, then you'll be paying for legal fees, and that is eating into the ultimate benefit of the estate that you have left. You may have inheritance bill that is so huge, wiping out 40% of the money that has not been managed properly because of dispute. If somebody dies without a will, you are known as intestate. If you die without a will, you are known as intestate. Your money or asset is handed out to, according to an old government law, not in any way near what you will have wished to happen after your demise. So it is good that we talk about will. You can draft it yourself, just get somebody to witness it for you, 2 people to witness it for you. But sometimes it's good to have a professional input as well. Reasons to have a will. The reasons: give your property to the right people, avoid expensive legal disputes, reduce IHT, that is IHT inheritance tax, maximize the benefit for your family and loved ones, protect your children and grandchildren. That means protect the wealth, the assets, so that it passes to your children and your children pass it to your grandchildren. Include the legacy and leave a little something for special people in your life, such as is charity giving. People that give money to charities do not pay tax on it. Some people give their houses to charities, like, for example, church or organizations that are registered charity. The taxman just hands off, doesn't touch it. And that leaves a legacy for the donor anyway. You minimize the risk of family disputes and stress. I cannot emphasize that enough. I've mentioned that before. You appoint your executor. In your will, you can say who is your executor. If you don't have a will, the government can force somebody on you. Avoid the law appointing executor for you. So that is very important, very, very important, because your will, you can specify in your will who you want to be in charge of your affairs after you've gone. Reasons to have a will. The government do not consider your personal relationship. The rules are very strict. Sometimes leaving those you love care for nothing. No matter how simplified your circumstance may be, so it's good to have a will. It's good to have a will. Think about it. It's not that making a will doesn't make you it doesn't assume that you'll be dying tomorrow. It is not. You see, within the Caucasians, they are really ahead of we Africans, because the Caucasians they have all these things in place. But most of us Africans, we tend to think that it's a taboo, or is something that is misjudged. You know, you'll be thinking negative about yourself if you do a will. No, gone are the days where we think like that ways. But it is good to have a will. Having a will doesn't mean you are going to die tomorrow. And property passing independently of the term of the will. For example, there are properties that don't have to be in the will. Automatically they pass to the next joint tenant, you know, by the survivorship to the surviving joint tenant. Insurance policies. It's good to have insurance, because insurance policies, if you are written into your, say your family will inherit insurance policy, there is no tax after death, because that will just go through. Put it in your will, name it there, it will not have. I have a case recently whereby it's an Indian couple. The husband, a professor who lost a wife who's a doctor, and the wife had a will, and he had insurance. The insurance paid out over 150,000 to the man, so that he can, you know, that was able to be used to pay off the mortgage. So it is really important. And that 150,000 that he received from Scottish Widow, that didn't attract any tax. In fact, that money was paid, because I was the executor, was paid to me. I had to go and pay the bank, pay off the mortgage. So it's always good to think about life insurance. It's very good. You may think they are taking your money, but it's good to incorporate it in your plan for your life. Pension benefits, pension as well, escapes inheritance tax as well. So it's good to have pensions if you can. And when I said about writing a will, you know, something that you can do yourself, but there are things that you make sure that you follow guidelines to make it valid. There are 3 requirements to be satisfied for a will to be valid. The testator's capacity. You must have mental capacity and to sign a will. You must be of sound mind, sound memory, sound understanding. The testator's intention, that is the knowledge and approval, must be tested. You must have general intention to make a will. Specific, you must know and approve the contents, the formalities for execution, all signing and 2 witnesses procedures. You must, for somebody to have a will, you know, you must make sure you have that capacity, mental capacity to do it. Be of sound mind, your memory is sound, you're not going to be coerced into doing it, you know. So sometimes people are coerced into writing a will because their mental capacity is less than normal. So really, those are things that you need to think about. Don't jump into it. To test mental capacity, there are other things. Government have laid out ways to do this. You can speak to your GP about that as well. There's something that is becoming very popular that goes with wills, and it became so prominent during these COVID times, where people just suddenly pass on, and there's LPA. Though the government tried to push it, make people to understand it, but there is hidden somehow. There are specific situations that require you to seek lasting power of attorney, such as critical case, critical illness, facing the possibility of losing mental capacity. If you think that you're very unwell, then you need LPA, that is lasting power of attorney, for somebody to act for you. Without an LPA, your finances, assets could be handed over to an external deputy to manage your affairs for you, which can be difficult for your family and is usually costly. An LPA would safeguard that you trust, that is, safeguard someone you trust will be in charge of your collective asset. That is, your assets is being looked after by somebody you trust. So if you do a LPA, or even state it in your will, then you find that is better for somebody you know and you trust that will take care of your assets after you've gone. So LPAs, they're becoming very popular now, and must be 18 over before you can have an LPA done. There are two types of LPA, choosing LPA as well. Two types. One is health and welfare. The other one is property and finance affairs. You can choose to make one or both. You can make both. Choose who will be your attorney. That is, who will represent you. Not necessarily a solicitor. It could be your children. It could be your relative. It could be your friend. Appoint them as attorney. You register this LPA with the Office of Public Guardian. It takes about 20 weeks to do, and it only costs about 82 pounds to the government. The Office of Public Guardianship is in charge of that. Once you appoint LPL, an attorney, and you do a lasting power of attorney, you register it for it to have some legal backing, register it with the Office of Public Guardianship. These things are there, but the government don't preach too much about it. They are there. It takes about 20 weeks to do one, and it only costs about 82 pounds. It's something that is encouraged. It's something that I will always encourage people to think about, especially when you're doing your will. Now, why do we do will? The will is just to reduce the incidence of capital gains tax, inheritance tax on your wealth after you've gone. There is this seven years gift before death, no tax. For example, if you give out a gift and you survive 7 years after that gift, there is no tax on it. It goes through. But if, for example, you give out a gift within 3 to 7 years and the person passes on, there will still be tax, but you'll be a relief. There will be a taper relief to give. It will be reduced, not be full 40%. It will just be reduced. There's what they call the 3,000 giveaway every year. We are all entitled to give out £3,000 every year with no tax implication. In fact, you are entitled to 6,000 because you can give for the last year, the previous year. For example, if I give £3,000 to the church, it's tax-free. If I give £2,000 to a friend and I still survive because of my entitlement to the current year and last year, I can even make it 6,000 and it will just escape tax. I can give 5,000 to childs for marriage, 2,500 for a grandchild. You know, there's another way of safeguarding assets from the taxman. You put your assets into a trust for grandchildren, you know, until they're 18. The trust will make sure, the trust will protect their interest until they're 18, over 18. You know, you can use pension, like I said before. Pension is quite good. It has no tax. It has no inheritance tax. Also, if you die before 75 years, pension pot is tax-free. If you die after 75 years, pension pay tax on the pension. That is, your pension will pay tax on the person getting the pension because the person is after 75 years and survived 75 years. I mean, it's very weird the way the tax law have been structured. That is, if somebody dies before 75 years, the pension pot will be tax-free. Can you say that? It means they encourage people to die before 75 years. If somebody dies after 75 years, that pension will be taxed. That's very funny. Spending or gifting money from ISAs and other savings. Those are all tips of reducing your tax implication. So inheritance tax charged at 40%, you'll be saving tax at 40% if you do all these things. You keep assets away, you reduce all the limits, get married if you can, because if you're married, your asset goes immediately out of tax and goes to your next partner. Make a will, like I said before, give money away. Don't keep all the money under your mattress. Just give them away there's nothing wrong. If you accumulate so much wealth, you find that the taxman will be coming after it later. Use pensions and trusts, just like I mentioned before. Invest in assets that get IHT. That means IHT is inheritance tax. Assets that will give you those kind of relief. Take out life insurance policy, just like I've mentioned before, and make sure the insurance policy is written for the benefit of your loved ones, or for the benefit of the charity, if you decide to give it to a charity. There is summary here. Consider making a will, whether young or old. There's no age limit to, once you're over 18, you can do a will. You can make changes to a will every 5 years. That if you have done one before, you can review it because your circumstances change anyway. Maybe you've now have more children, you've now bought more properties, or you've now got pension, you've now got inheritance tax assets that are inheritance tax free. Maybe things have moved. You move in house. You've divorced, maybe unfortunately divorced or separated from your partner. You're starting a new business. So there are a lot of things you can do to amend the will that you've already written 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's good to revisit your will and just look at, is that will that I wrote 10 years ago, is it still fit for purpose? Is it still on? Am I still, within my plans in life, what I plan to do? Consider charities you want to support after your demise. If, for example, you decide to give your assets to charities, that's why some people give their assets to the dog charity. Those people that look after the dogs in Battersea. Some give it to pets. Some give it to some elephants. Some give it to Oxfam. Some leave it to some churches. Some leave it to Red Cross. Just to their legacy will carry on after their demise. So you preserve your pension, spend other savings if need be. Consider gifting cash and assets at its earliest if you can. Consider life insurance for the benefit of loved ones. I've mentioned that before. So now that's just summarizing the will. Now we're going into tax and national minimum wage. You need to understand the income tax implications of your daily living and your daily earnings, and whatever multiple streams of income you are trying to generate to create wealth. You also want to look at the income tax implications. Now let us start with the national minimum wage. From 1st of April this year, the national minimum wage that will operate for this tax year, you can see there, if you're over 23 years and over, is £9.50 an hour, national living wage. If you're between 21 to 22 years, £9.18 an hour. 18 to 20 years, £6.83 an hour. If you're less than 18, £4.81. That is more than the school living age. Apprenticeship, less than 19 years old, is £4.81. If you're over 19 and you're doing apprenticeship for the first year, is £4.81. Your entitlement to SMP, which is statutory maternity pay and statutory paternity pay. 90% of your wages for the first 6 weeks, you're entitled to it. Then you now get every week £156.66 for 12 weeks, or 90% of your earnings that you were getting before you went on maternity pay, whichever is lower. And there's SSP, statutory sickness benefit, £156 per week. Income tax allowances and rates. Oh, sorry, that's the typo there. So you can see tax rate for this is 2022, 2023. Tax personal allowance whereby you don't pay tax is 12,570. That means you can earn money up to 12,570 in a year without paying tax. You'll be tax-free. Income limit, 100,000. If you're 100,000 limit, £1,000 a year, there are limits whereby you lose that 12,000 personal allowance, 12,570 if you earn more than that. For example, before you start paying tax, you are 20%. You will have earned more than 50,270. Because the first 12,570 is tax-free. Then after that, you have a 0 to 37,700 will be at 20%. If you add that to the 12,570, you have the 50,270. It means that you should have been earning more than 50,270 to start paying tax at 40%. And from 40%, when you start earning more than 150,000, you start paying tax at 45%, which I know most of us would like to be because of our multiple streams of income, which you are going to start now, and you will be get to earning that kind of money, and you shouldn't be afraid to pay tax at 45%. Or you can decide to become non-dom, like some of our chancellors and other people trying to be politicians, they try to be non-domiciled. MCA transfer, that is married couples allowance. Employee, you start paying national insurance. When you start earning over 190% pounds a month, and it used to be 11%, but now it's gone to 13.25 because the chancellor increased it because of a contribution towards health and NHS and social care. Income over 100,000, your personal allowance goes down by £1 for every £2 that your earning is. When you earn over 100,000, every additional £2 you earn, your personal allowance that was supposed to be free, tax-free, will be going down, will be reducing. So that means you should have received or be earned 125,140 to lose your personal allowance. That is the 12,570 pounds that is tax-free. You lose it gradually and completely after you've earned 125,000 a year. There are people who have companies who want to diversify and try to be smart to beat the taxman. So if you have a company, your company dividend tax rates, you have £2,000 is tax-free. For example, you have, as a director or a shareholder of a company, you have 12,570 tax-free. Then if you are a company shareholder, you also have £2,000 tax-free from your dividend allowance. That is if you have shares in your company or you have shares in multinationals like BP or Shell or whichever, BT, Marks and Spencers, and all those places. The first £2,000 you earn from dividend is tax-free. So if you add it to your 12,000, that's almost £15,000 you'll be getting free. And the next 10,000 from dividend is taxed at 8.75%. You can see the rate for dividend is very low. And it goes 33.75, and it goes like that. Self-employed people, if you decide to be self-employed, you pay what they call Class 2 National Insurance, £3.15 per week. And once you earn more than £6,000, £6,700, you start paying Class 4 at 10%, 25%, sorry, 10.25% on profit between, 9,000 to 50,000. Capital gains I've talked about before. Residential property, that is buy to let, 18% and 28%. There is annual exemption if you sell your property, second property. There's annual exemption before you pay capital gains tax of 12,300. I talked about the 3,000 capital gains annual gift allowance. Inheritance tax, there is the new rate. The first 325,000 house tax there's no tax on that. There is if you are married, residence new rate is 175,000 before you pay tax at 40%. That is the target. Always try to avoid 40% tax. You can give gifts to charity. You do not have to pay. You do not have to pay capital gains tax on assets you give away to charity. You may have to pay if you sell an asset to a charity for both more than what you paid for it, less than market value. For example, if you sell your property at less than market value, you'll be asked to put market value instead in calculation of your capital gains. You can work out your gains using the amount of charity actually pays you as well. So this is just talking about when you give out your gift to charity, or you sell to charity, or you sell to somebody at an undervalue. So I want to say thank you. I want to take opportunity thank everyone, thanks the leadership of the Dominion Center, Pastor Sam, Pastor Bertie, and I want to use the opportunity to move to the next question and answer session, if there is. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Elder Oloke, for that great presentation.
God bless you.
And I also commend you for keeping to your time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on a different level today. Yeah. First speaker blew it all apart. Dr. Oloke was brought it to a new level, and we're still within our time. So that's very commendable. So we'll look at the questions now. While we're waiting for the question, I apologize to, I think his brother Wale Adebambo, who asked a question. I completely missed it. And the question was, when Doctor was talking about passive income, and he gave an example of someone getting 20,000, that the person would need 200,000. I spoke to him, and what he meant was that you already have that asset. So it's either you have equity, or you have some funds, and you invest it in such a way that you get 10% every year on that asset. So what he's essentially saying is that the fund is already there. So you just actually invest in it, so you can get 10% on it, for you to be getting £20,000 every year. So I believe that has cleared that up. I'm still looking if there's any questions. But while we're waiting, Elder, I have a few questions actually. So when we talk about the will, like Pastor said when we were doing the announcement, that for some of us it's kind of tempting fate, as they say. That when you start writing a will, you're tempting fate. Well, obviously, we here know that it's the sensible thing to do. But can I just ask that if someone says they don't actually have a property, they are council tenants, so they don't have a property, their child is grown and left home, and they've just got a bit of savings. The child is their next of kin. They have access to whatever they have in their bank account. Is there any need to write the will?
Right. Thank you very much. Yes, that's yeah. You don't have you definitely don't own the property where you live, and you have all your money saved in the bank or is kept under the mattress. Definitely the money you can pass it to your children or your children's children, whatever you have in your jewelries and all. It is good. You may think because you're okay, for example, husband and wife, you may decide to say, well, I don't want to write a will because my wife is there anyway. Everything I own will just pass to my wife, and my wife will pass it to my son. Yes, it is good to still write a will. I would say it's good to write a will because you would, if you have a will written, your wife has got a will, your husband is the husband has got a will.
Sorry, Mr. Luke. This person, they don't have a wife or husband. They're single. They've raised their child. The child is grown. They live in a council property, and they have some savings. Should they still write a will?
Thank
the child
you.
Is their next of kin.
I'm sorry. Thank you for clarifying that question. Yes, of course. I've just assumed that it was a couple that was asking that question. Yeah. No, it's still good to have a will because that will tell who will be in charge of your estate. You may think that, well, I don't
have an estate.
Pardon?
They live in a council property. So.
Yeah, estate means, okay, in the definition of estate means whatever you own.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even your jewelries, your clothing, your furnitures, if you are sold, goes into your estate. It goes into the pot of your estate. So what we call estate here in the definition is everything that you own, including your clothes, your shoes, your bicycle, your motor cars. They're all part of. So when they are sold, they become money. And when you after your demise, you pass it on to your children or to your child, it's still good to have a will, because if you don't have a will, your child may face a situation whereby the state, the social workers, they step into it and they will appoint somebody to look after those estates, even no matter how small it is, for them to pass into your child. Now, if you have so much money in the bank and the person has passed on, the bank will not honor your child as the person who can have access into that account without a will, without a probate. And that probate will be a court letter, or that if you have the will and show it and it's properly done, and you show it to the bank, if your son shows and you appoint your son to be the administrator of that will, and he shows it to the bank will automatically give access to your child, depending on how old your child is. If it's less than 18, that is more reason why you should have a will in place. If it's more than 18, fine, he will be able to act, but then he needs guidance. So that is why you need a will, and the will makes it so easy for the bank to give access to your child. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So the questions they're streaming in now. So the first question is, can an LPA be changed once it's in place?
Yes, sir. It can be changed. You can change it every year, anytime you like. You can amend it to suit your requirements. You may be that I've appointed Mr. X to be my attorney, but now Mr. X is passed on. He's no longer alive. You can change it. Or you no longer have any trust in that Mr. X or Mrs. B, you just change it and make a new one. You don't. So I just need to take it to the update it with the public guardianship office.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. The next question is, can putting assets and properties into a trust fund for loved ones prevent them from paying a tax inheritance bill?
Yes, that is a very good question, because using a trust to shield off your assets from capital gains tax and inheritance tax is the intent, is something that you should look at strongly for people that have multiple buy-to-lets, second properties and all. Is good to consider writing a trust, and yes, and also have a LPA as well if you can. Yes.
Okay.
Because
excellent.
trust tax is very low, and sometimes it just passes without no tax at all.
Okay. Next question is, what is the most suitable route to pass your properties, assets, and business to your children and grandchildren without leaving them with a high inheritance tax bill?
I've just met, that's from the.
I guess that's a trust, isn't it?
That's a trust. Just consider a trust.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, consider a trust. Give it a time. Consider writing a trust.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Is it possible to take out insurance to pay inheritance tax? IHT, I don't know what IHT is.
Well, yes, IHT is inheritance tax. Yes, some people do it these days, but to take insurance, and but again, the insurance people would be looking at your assets. They will review your asset, evaluate it, making sure that yes, you have enough to pay the premiums. And really, it's not something that we will actually recommend, really, but because you end up paying so much for that. But if you have a trust, it's good. You need to contact a solicitor who can do a trust, and watertight trust, so that you'll be protected.
What is a chargeable event certificate?
Sorry, come again?
What is a chargeable event certificate?
Chargeable event, certificate. In terms of capital gains tax or inheritance tax?
No, they just maybe please, if you could clarify what you mean. I think it's Helena. While we're waiting for the clarification of that, another question is, thank you very much, sir. You said always try to avoid 325,000 new rate. Did you mean limited one's estate to that value and taking steps to reduce the size of an estate during one's lifetime? In other words, as part of overall estate planning.
Yeah, thank you. The 325,000 is tax-free. The new rates band for inheritance tax. There is another 175,000 residence new rate band if you're married and you have this your property together. So that means about 650,000 tax-free. So yes, you don't limit yourself to 325,000. Of course, everybody would like to be millionaires. So you just need to do proper planning, but you have at least 650,000 that will just wipe off tax-free before you start being bothered about the balance. And again, with tax planning, you can find that most of them will just escape capital inheritance tax.
Okay. Now, the person who asked the question has come back. It says the chargeable event certificate on a long-term saving.
Okay. Long-term saving. So are you talking about bonds, or is that bond saving, or what sort of saving? Anyway, chargeable event, as my understanding is, if they must have given some criteria, some conditions on that savings agreement or your document, and it will trigger a charge for interest. If you, for example, let me give a simple example. You've gone to the post office and you set up bond, you buy bonds and start saving. There are criteria, there's conditions you must keep to obey the rules of tax-free bond payment, bond yields. But there are something you would do that would trigger a tax, because you may decide to say that you kept it for 10 years and all of a sudden, 5 years time, you say, oh no, I need quick money. You go and break the rules. Then you will be having a chargeable event. That means they will tax whatever you're going to get.
Okay. How do I go about setting up a trust fund?
There are solicitors in the house. There's go to the solicitors. Ken is there, and Brother Wale or Adebambo is there. So there are other things. You can speak to me as a chartered accountant. We can point you to the right directions. You can check the internet as well, but make sure you know the internet source you're checking out on.
Okay. So, Mr. Loke, what I'll ask you to do, please, if you can put your email address in the chat, so at least people could contact you directly if they want to. Would that be okay?
Yes, I'll do that now.
All right, we'll be rounding up the questions now. What's the best way to put all your estate in different countries into your will? So you reside in the UK, you have a property in your home country, you have a holiday home in Mallorca, and then you have another holiday home in Florida. How do you put everything in your will?
Well, the will that I've spoken about and is restrictive to the UK, especially England and Wales. Scotland, they have their own. The will that you will be drafting doesn't cover wills, it doesn't cover assets abroad. If you have assets in Nigeria or other places, you may have a will written over there. Yes, or if you say I'm a British citizen, everything, I'm domiciled in the UK, I want everything, you can state everything, then it will be brought in as in which you haven't done as a remittance basis. If you bring everything in, yes, it will be stated in your will. You can put in your will, my assets in this country, once it's the proceeds, if it dispose, the proceeds comes back to the UK, this is how I want it treated.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll take the last two questions, which is the trust fund a benefit to adult children?
Yes.
It is, okay. And then the last question is the tax-free allowance of 325,000 applicable to each property or the entire estate?
Not each property is to individual. Then, for example, the husband is entitled to everybody is entitled to 325,000 is per individual, and you cannot, it doesn't extend to properties.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So please, if you have any more questions, please direct it to Elder Oloke. He'll be putting his email address in the group chat or in the chat, and you could contact him directly for more clarifications. Thank you once again, Elder. We're going to take our break now, but before we do that, I'll ask Pastor Sam if there's anything you want to say, sir, and then we'll go on break for 10 minutes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Doloke, what a wonderful presentation, and again, it was just excellent. And I think we should be doing this at like every 6 months, remind people all the time. Thank you very much. And I think everybody should do this. I have a question here. That's from me. Should everybody have like an accountant, like, personal, do your taxes? I get confused about that. Everybody should be doing taxes, isn't it? Should be submitting their returns. Is it?
Not necessarily. By law, if you're earning over 100,000, say if you earn over 100,000 in one tax year,
okay,
you are mandated to register by October, the 5th of October following. So it is good if you're earning that amount to do tax return. Tax return is not compulsory for everyone, and you don't have to have an accountant. Some people do tax return self-assessment by themselves, but the only danger of that, or the risk of that, is you may not know what to claim, or you may overclaim, or you may underclaim. You may shoot yourself on your foot by paying the taxman so much money without claiming what you're entitled to. So it's good for people to get advice. You know, if you have multiple properties and it's complex, then you need an accountant. Otherwise, if it's just a straightforward employment, even if you say your earnings is over 100,000, you want to do self-assessment, fine, you may try to do it yourself, but sometimes it's good to engage an accountant because sometimes the fee is quite little as well. So
okay, all right, then. So everybody should be registering with you and then do their taxes with you.
Not necessarily.
Okay, all right then. All right then. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you very much. God bless.
That's a good pitch for you.
Yeah, just like that.
I'm still waiting for your email address in the chat, sir. We're still waiting for that. Okay, so we're going to go on break. We're going to take 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and we'll be back at. Okay, we'll take 15 minutes, so we'll be back at. No, we'll take 10 minutes, so we'll be back at 15 minutes past 12. We're going to have a lawyer speak to us about legal matters. So thank you so much, and see you in 10 minutes.
God is big, so strong, so mighty. My God's plans for me go beyond my wildest dream. My God is big, so strong, so mighty. My God's plans for me go beyond my wildest dream. My God is good, He's good, so good to me. My God plans for me go beyond my wildest dream. Say so good to me. My God, He's big, He's so strong, He's so mighty. My God's plans for me go beyond my wildest dream. My God is so good to me. And His plans for me go beyond my wildest dream. Say so good to me. So good to me. He's my God, He is my refuge. He's the rock on which I stand. He's my fortress. My God, He is my light. He holds the ocean in His hand. He's my God. He is my refuge. He's the rock on which I stand. He's my fortress. My God, He is my light. He holds the ocean in His hand. There's nothing my God cannot do. And there's nothing my God cannot do. There's nothing my God cannot do. There's nothing that He won't do. There's nothing my God cannot do. And there's nothing that He can't do. bless your holy name. Lord, we bless you, Lord. We thank you. Nothing compares to you, Lord. No one compares to you. Nothing compares to your great name, Lord. The word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation is now revealed in you, Christ. Name it is. Oh, what a beautiful name it is. You are the Word. Oh, we worship you, God. What a beautiful name it is. Oh, we glorify your name. You are the Word. Yeah. You are the Word at the beginning. One with God the Lord. One with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation. Your hidden glory in creation. Now revealed in you. Now revealed in you. What a beautiful name. What a beautiful name it is. It's the name of Jesus Christ. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. And what a beautiful name. What a beautiful name it is. And nothing compares to this. Nothing compares to this. And what a beautiful name. The name of. And what a beautiful name it is. Yeah. What a beautiful name. Yeah. The name of Jesus. The name of Jesus Christ, my. And what a beautiful name. Yeah. Nothing compares. Nothing compares to this. And what a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. So Jesus, you brought heaven down. Jesus, you brought heaven down. My sin was great, but your love was greater. My sin was great, your love was greater. And what could separate us now? What can separate us now? And what a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name. The name of Jesus Christ. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name, yeah. And nothing compares to this. Nothing compares to. And what a beautiful name. What a beautiful name. And what a beautiful name. And what a beautiful name it is, yeah. What a beautiful name. What a beautiful name. It's the name of Jesus. It's the name of my King, my Lord, my Savior. What a beautiful name, yeah. And nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name. The name of Jesus. Yes. You silence the boast of sin and grace. The heavens are roaring. The heavens are. It's the for you are raised to life again. And you have no rival. You have no rival. And you have no equal. You have no equal. And now and forever. And forever. God, you reign. God, you reign. And yours is the kingdom. Yours is the kingdom. And yours is the glory. Yours is the glory. And yours is the name. Yours is the name above all names. And you have no rival. You have no rival. And you have no equal. You have no and now and forever. Yes, you reign. God, you and yours is the kingdom. Yours is and yours is the glory. And yours is the name. And yours is the name. Yours is the name above all names. And you have no rival. You have and you have no equal. And you have no rival. And you have no equal. And you have no rival. And you have no equal. And you have no rival. And you have no equal. There's no one beside you. Yours is the name above all names. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. And what a beautiful name, yeah. Nothing compares. Nothing compares to this. And what a beautiful name. It is. The name of Jesus. What a beautiful name it is.
Welcome back, everyone. What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus Christ. So we continue marching forward with our seminar, World Creation Seminar. And the next session that we'll be taking, we'll be looking at the legal side of things. And we have an able lawyer in our midst, in the person of lawyer Kennedy Obirosi. I hope I pronounced that surname correctly, lawyer Kennedy Obirosi. And the format of this session will be slightly different. This will be more delegate-driven. So we already have some questions that we're going to pose to lawyer Ken. And also, if you want to ask a question, again, just go to your device on the right-hand side, I believe. There are 3 dots there. Just click on it and you see chat come up. What you could also do, if your question is very sensitive, you could actually, when you're sending the question, instead of sending it to everyone, you see that option there. And you can actually choose lawyer Ken. So you can just choose lawyer Ken and send it to him directly, and he'll be the only one who sees that question and he can address it. But we will start off now. I'll start asking the questions, and lawyer Ken would answer those questions as we take them. So please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome lawyer Kennedy Obirosi.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon. Like Minister Femi said, my name is Kennedy Obirosi. I am the senior partner of Lpa Solicitors, LLP. And before I start, I will first of all acknowledge Pastor Sam and Pastor Betty for this wonderful opportunity. And I'm very honored and privileged to be able to speak to you. And hopefully we are going to have a good session. Like the minister said, this is slightly a different format. It is not me telling you about the law. It's not me lecturing you. I'm sure none of you is spending your Saturday trying to learn how to be a lawyer. What you are interested in, I will assume, is practical solutions to some problems or challenges you'll be having. And that is what I will attempt to do today. So please, if there are issues that you face currently and you are seeking legal advice on them, this is the forum to do that. If for any reason you are concerned about your confidentiality and you want to, DM me straight, I am happy to act in confidentiality and read it and answer the question. So welcome to this session, and let's make it worthwhile for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lawyer Kennedy. I'll start off with the very first question. And the question is, what do you do if you have grounds to prove you're being discriminated at work?
Okay. Yes, work discrimination is something that we face in our daily life, and sometimes it manifests more in our place of work. Well, basically, discrimination is when you are being treated less favorably than every other person for no discernible reason. Sometimes it could be because of the skin of the color of your skin, where you come from, how you speak. It could be because of your age. It could be because you have some disability. And sometimes it could be because of your sexual orientation. So people face discrimination for different reasons. And these reasons are protected by the law. There are what the law calls protected characteristics: age, disability, race. So if you suspect that you face discrimination, because sometimes, and I have to say this, it is not all the time that everything is discrimination. I've had instances where people come to me to allege discrimination, but it is not discrimination. So sometimes people will feel that they are being treated less favorably, but clearly it is just their feeling, and these feelings have no position or grounds in law. So if you are being treated unfairly, i.e. being discriminated, first of all, the first step you have to take is to find out, why are you being treated unfairly? This is common sense, isn't it? And when you are doing that, you are trying to identify which of these protected characteristics you can come under. Are you being treated unfairly because of your age? Sometimes people that get to certain age in certain industries are, for whatever reasons, treated with disrespect. Some are mocked, some are, treated in such a way that they are given the impression that they are no longer wanted, or they are given the impression that they are not welcome in that setting. So if you are being treated because of your age, then that is discrimination. Another point is sometimes it could be because of the disability you suffer. When you suffer disabilities, it could be physical, it could be mental. Physical, let's, for example, say you have, you are not able to walk, or you can't see, or you cannot, you are not able to talk. These are obvious disabilities that you suffer. If your workplace or your colleagues, they could be the employer or the employee, treat you less favorably because of it. One thing I have to point out is that the law requires that employers should make what is called reasonable adjustments. So if these reasonable adjustments are made or are not made in such a way that you are, more or less given no option than to leave the employment, or you are required to continue working in situations or circumstances that does not enhance or, help you with your work, then it could be said that you are being discriminated. So that is about disability. Then the other is your sexual orientation, whether actual or perceived. There are some people that others, for whatever reason, assign sexual orientation to, even though they are not. And that there are some that are actually maybe gay or lesbians or other forms of sexual orientations that people identify themselves as now. So the law protects you. The law does not allow you to be treated unfairly. Then the other one is marriage or civil partnership. If you are married or you are in a civil partnership, your employers are not allowed to discriminate you on that basis. Or you are pregnant, or you are going through maternity. So these are the protected characteristics. So the point I'm trying to make is that the first thing you have to do if you suspect that you are being discriminated is to find out which of these categories you fall under. So if you are able to identify which of them, let's say for argument's sake, you are being discriminated just because you are a Black person, then you've identified that your discrimination, that the trigger point, that the main reason you are being discriminated is because you are a Black person. So you've done the first step. Then the second step is you have to identify who is responsible. Is it your employer, or is it an employee of the employer, or is it an agent of the employer? The relevant thing here is for your employers to be relevant, to be responsible for the discrimination, they have to be either doing it themselves or doing it through their employee. If this does not arise, let's say for example, you are being treated by a third party that is neither the employer or the employee or an agent of the employer, then you cannot successfully claim to be discriminated. You might have other remedies, but not as employment discrimination. So that is the second thing you need to identify. Then the third and the final thing is you have to find out what type of discrimination. And once you're able to identify that, most employers, in fact, the employers are required by the law now to have a grievance procedure. The grievance procedure is whereby it's a process of procedure whereby you are able to tell your employers about the challenges you're having. It is usually set out in a document, which all employers should have. And the first thing you can do is to seek to be given this document. If for whatever reason it is not employment handbook, then the procedure will set out clearly, step by step, stage by stage process that you have to engage in able to bring this grievance to your employer. It could say, which is usually the case, that you write to your manager or whoever is the grievance manager to say that these are the things you suffer. Once you do that, the employer is required to investigate your complaint. They will usually call you for a meeting and go through the complaints with you in order to pinpoint which areas you are making out as being discriminatory. If you are alleging that some people are the perpetrators of this discrimination, then they will interview them. Sometimes there will be a hearing. And after this hearing, they will make a decision. The decision is to acknowledge that you are being discriminated or to say that, well, whatever you are saying does not constitute discrimination. Whatever the decision is, you'll be communicated. And based on this communication, you can then appeal subsequently. Once you have appealed, there will be a further hearing where the appeal manager or whoever is considering the appeal will once again review what the first panel did. Through that review, they can either agree that what decisions they reached was right, or they can overturn that decision and make other decisions. Again, if you are still not satisfied with their decision, you can then approach the Employment Tribunal. The Employment Tribunal, you have 3 months anyway from the date of the last decision to approach the Employment Tribunal. The Employment Tribunal will then set up a hearing where you, your employer, and whoever is the person or individuals or group that are perpetrating the discrimination will come before a tribunal judge, and the decision will be made regarding whether you are in fact being discriminated or you are not. Depending on that decision, the tribunal can make findings, i.e. that you are. And if findings are made, it will now sanction the employers. And sometimes, depending on the case, award you compensation. So these are the things you can do if you sense or you have a suspicion that you are being discriminated. Of course, this is the process you take while you are still in that employment. Sometimes the discrimination can be such that you cannot reasonably be expected to continue to be in that employment. That can then generate or give basis for what is called unfair dismissal, whereby you will now resign your appointment, terminate your engagement with the employer, and then start up this right. Well, by doing that, you're effectively saying that based on the actions or inactions of the employer, you cannot reasonably be expected to continue the employer-employee relationship. And as such, you are terminating the employment, and then you are seeking redress for whatever discriminations you suffered. So in general, these are the things you can do. Of course, each is case specific, and the route you take depends on the peculiarity of your case. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawyer Ken, for comprehensively addressing that. The next question I have is, how do you deal with difficult landlords?
Okay. The first thing we have to identify is what is a difficult landlord. Unfortunately, the law does not have a definition for what a difficult landlord is. But I will assume that a difficult landlord will be someone or a landlord that fails or neglects to do what it ought to do or what it's supposed to do. The landlord-tenant relationship, like every other relationship, is regulated by the law. It could be a statute, i.e. the Landlord-Tenants Act, whereby the government puts down things that are expected on both sides. These things can be obligations, these things can be responsibilities. So there are responsibilities apportioned by the law on the landlord, and there are also responsibilities apportioned on the tenant by the law. So these are statutory obligations. So I would think that a difficult landlord is one that does not respect or obey these obligations set out by the statute. Another form of obligation can be contractual. Most times, and this is usually the case, each relationship, landlord-tenant relationship, has a contract that stipulates what is expected from the landlord and what is expected from the tenant. So in a nutshell, if the landlord is not obeying or living up to the expectations as dictated by the tenancy agreement, we could justifiably say that he's a difficult landlord. The contractual and statutory obligations of the landlord commences even before you go in and shortly once the tenancy agreement is signed. There are things that the landlord should do at the commencement of the tenancy. There are also things that the landlord should do during the term of the tenancy. Finally, there are things that the landlord is expected to do at the termination of the tenancy. So these obligations are throughout the lifetime of the tenancy, from inception, during, and after. So the things that the landlord should do at the start of the tenancy. One, there are what is called prescribed documents. These are documents that the landlord should give to any tenant within 30 days of starting the tenancy. So if you sign a tenancy agreement, which signifies the commencement of your tenancy relationship with the landlord should provide you with the Energy Performance Certificate, EPC. This certificate talks about the energy efficiency of the property. He should provide you that immediately. He should provide you the current gas certificate. He should provide you the property license. I will discuss more a bit about this, what is called a property license. A property license is a license granted by boroughs. Different boroughs have different regulations around it. There are some boroughs that require for you to be a landlord to obtain a license. This is what is called a property license. If you don't have it, you are breaching the law by renting your property out. So these are the things that you should show your tenant or provide him a copy at the time he is coming into the property. The final thing is you have to provide the tenant the current rent guide, how to rent guide. It's a document, from the government, which gives the tenant the rights and obligations concerning his rent. So you have to provide that. The other thing is if you take a deposit, and this is very important, if you take a deposit prior to the commencement of the tenancy, you must secure this deposit within one of the approved government deposit schemes. What does this mean? Most times when you enter into a tenancy, the landlord will require you to pay some monies, security deposits. We all know about this. The law says that the landlord must put this deposit within one of the schemes. He's not allowed to put it in his bank account. He's not allowed to hold it in his pocket. He must put it in these schemes. And he must give you the details of these schemes within 30 days of you signing that contract. This and the prescribed documents have effects. The simple effect is that if he fails to do this within the stipulated time of 30 days, then he will have immense problems evicting you. In practice, we see this every day. It is not enough to be able to purchase a property and become a landlord. You have to be aware of the regulations guiding the work you're choosing to do. So if you take a tenancy deposit from a tenant, the law requires you to secure it. And not just to secure it, to provide the information that is being secured to the tenant. And if you fail, there are two possible sanctions. One is that the tenant will be entitled to a full refund of that tenancy. That means that you are not required to make any deductions or claim any damages or anything from those tenants, that deposit. That obviously is a sanction because the essence of this security deposit is to give the landlord an assurance that at the end of the tenancy, if there are any damages, if there are anything that needs to be put in place, you have some money to do that. But if you don't secure it, you will be required to return it in full. That's the first sanction. Then the second sanction is that if the tenant takes you to court, the court can award double to 3 times that deposit. I'll repeat it and I'll illustrate how it works. Let's say for argument's sake, I take up a tenancy and I give my landlord deposit of £500. After the 30th day, I have not heard from him. I'm not aware that he's lodged it with any of the schemes. And he didn't just contact me on that. What the law says is that after the 30 days has expired, you can actually demand for a full refund of that deposit, or you can take the landlord to court and get compensation of 2 times that deposit or 3 times that deposit. These rights you can exercise while you are still a tenant, or even if you have left the tenancy. So these are the things that the landlord should do at the commencement of the tenancy. However, there are things he cannot do. He cannot charge you for monies that are required to set up the tenancy. These are monies that have to do with agent administration fees, referencing fees, credit checks, guarantors fees, and all that. These are banned fees. The landlord cannot ask you to pay these fees. I know that before this law came into place, it's the practice that if you are seeking a tenancy, the agent will usually say, oh, pay X amount for administration fees. These are non-refundable. Pay X amount for referencing. Pay X amount for credit checks. Pay X amount for guarantors fees. The law has banned on this. The landlord can no longer do that. The second thing the landlord cannot do at exception is to collect any deposit that is higher than 5 times your weekly rent. So it is not a case, if your weekly rent, let's say you are renting the place for, your weekly rent is £1,000. That means he can only get 5 times £500. He cannot get more than that as a deposit, unless you are renting a very expensive property that you are paying more than £50,000 in a year, then you can get up to 6 times. If your rent is less than £50,000 a year, you can only get 5 times of your deposit, weekly deposit. Okay, so these are the things he's not allowed to do. He is also not allowed to take more than a week's rent for you to a holding deposit. I'll explain what this means. Sometimes when you approach a landlord or an agent, they will say, okay, give us some money so that we use it to take the property out of the market or out of, the advertising board so that people will not go for it. Before now, they can charge 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or how much ever they want. But now the law has limited it to just 1 week. The other thing is inventory check, checkout fees, and all that. So basically, there are fees that the landlord can no longer charge, which before now they could do and get away, but now they cannot. Okay? So these are the things that the landlord can or cannot do at the inception of the tenancy. When you now go in and become a tenant, the landlord's obligation continues. The general obligation is that the landlord should maintain and repair the place. This is usually the battleground between the tenant and the landlord. Sometimes the landlord is only interested in collecting his rent and has little or no appetite in repairing the place. This makes the place very, very uncomfortable for the tenant. And this obviously creates a lot of controversy or dispute between the landlord and the tenant. So the landlord has obligations to continue repairing this place. However, the tenant also have some obligations. This obligation has to do with the T&W of the place. The landlord is not responsible for repainting the place if you mess it up. The landlord is not responsible for unblocking the sink if it is as a result of your action. The landlord is not responsible for mowing the garden if the grasses grow. The landlord is not responsible for changing the bulb if for whatever reason the bulb goes. However, there are responsibilities that the landlord under the law has in the tenancy. The landlord is responsible to maintain the structure and the exterior of the property. That is the walls, the roof, the foundations, the drains, the external pipes, the windows, and the external doors. So if anything happens to your roof, if for whatever reason your door is no longer closing well, or there's a burst pipe just outside your door or by the kitchen sink, it is the landlord's responsibility. Again, if there are problems with the electric wiring, the boilers, the radiators, the gas fires, the fitted electric lights, or anything to do with the water system and the heating system, it is the landlord's responsibility. But for this responsibility to be triggered, the landlord has to be notified. It is the tenant's responsibility to notify the landlord. I know that in some cases, there has been issues where the tenant would notify the landlord of this disrepair, and then there is a dispute. And then the landlord will say, you know what, you need to leave my house. I think you are becoming difficult. The law protects the tenant from such eviction. This is what the law have identified as retaliatory eviction. What this simply means is that your landlord cannot evict you simply because you've asked for some things to be repaired in the property. This happens more often than we know, whereby a tenant wants certain things to be done in the property. And these things are things that are within the responsibilities of the landlord. And the landlord feels that, well, I just have to kick him out instead of actually doing this work. The law will come in to say, no, you cannot do that. What you are doing is against the law. This is what is called retaliatory eviction. And the law will make whatever notices you serve to recover your property invalid. So that gives a bit of assurance, a bit of comfort for tenants to demand their right to disrepair or to repair the property. Then finally, after the tenancy, the landlord has the responsibility to return the deposit. Deposit is usually a controversial aspect of the tenancy. Sometimes, and this also happens in practice, some tenants will ask the landlord, oh, I'm moving next month. I'm not going to be paying the rent for next month. Can you apply my deposit to the rent? No, he can't, because that's not what it's meant for. The deposit is not rent. It is security deposit. You only get it at the end of the tenancy. And that gives the landlord a bit of comfort that if anything needs to be repaired within the period, then within the period you've left, then he has the monies to do that. However, the landlord is still responsible to return and account for this tenancy, this deposit. Sometimes some landlords, very scrupulous landlords, once you leave, it becomes an uphill task getting your money. However, because these monies are now in the rent, in the schemes will come into, mediate and say, well, you are not entitled to hold on to that deposit, or you are entitled because of the repairs that you are putting in place. So this is the last responsibility of the landlord. So having gone through this, I think that if the landlord does this, or if as a tenant, you're able to assert this right, this will be seen to be the way to deal with a difficult landlord. I don't know if there's any questions arising as a result of that. I think somebody sent something. This is very good to know as landlord. Letting agents are good to put in place if you're happy to pay the commission and management fee. Okay, yes, I agree. I agree. The gentleman or lady, whoever sent that, is trying to say that if you are a landlord and for whatever reasons you are not up to date with the regulations, you might want to use an agent who will hold your hand and guide you through the process. Because if you don't do it the right way, it is potentially very difficult to reverse.
Excellent, Lord Kennedy. Just one quick question. Someone is asking, do you actually set up trust funds? I know the answer, but I just wanted you to respond to them.
Do we do what, sorry?
Do you set up trust funds? Can you draw trust funds?
Yes, we do. Yes,
Okay.
we do. But trust funds are very case sensitive. And that's the only thing I'll say. I had the last part of the last speaker, Mr. Yes. Trust funds are very specialized documents. It is not something that is not it's not a generic document where you print it off the internet and just change the names and you have a trust document. It's something that requires a lot of considerations, because if for whatever reason it does not fully comply with the rules or the laws, it's not going to work. It's just not what the paper it's on. Okay, so we do that, and a lot of solicitors that are knowledgeable trust also will do that.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. So we've got 15 minutes to go. So to expedite time, I would ask these questions, and they're all on immigration, so you can just address them.
Okay.
So I'll ask the questions. It says here, with the recent changes in immigration laws, if someone you knew was planning on coming to this country, what would you tell them to expect? That's the first question. Second question is, what advice would you give them about whether or not they should come? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the second question. The other question is, what are the 2 or 3 most important things that person could do to make the process of getting legal counsel better? And
Okay.
then the other question. The other question is.
Let's take it one at a time, because I'll
that's
remember. What's the first question? Let's knock off the first question.
Okay. The first question is, if someone is planning to come to the UK, in light of the recent changes in immigration law, what would you tell them to expect?
Well, I will tell them to read up the law, be conversant with it, because these are the laws that will determine whether you get entry clearance or not. And I will tell them to use an immigration lawyer. The essence of using an immigration lawyer is not because you cannot read and understand the immigration law. The essence of using an immigration lawyer is that you have a holistic understanding of what to expect and guidance on how to be able to do it. Immigration application is not just about filling the forms. Most of these forms are actually dumb proof, but it goes beyond that. It goes to the extent of how to meet the requirement. Most times people have what the law requires, but because they are not sure how or what is required, they don't present it with the application. Sometimes again, they don't know what level of evidence is required. So my response to that is that you become aware of the law. If you are looking at coming here, you can do that on your own, or you can seek help from an immigration solicitor. Please avoid as much as possible friends or families that have no understanding of this, that have no practice on experience in this, telling you that this is how it is done. Remember, it is your future. Remember, it's your application. Remember, you are the one that will bear the brunt of any mistakes. Don't use people that don't know what they are doing. It's either you are doing it yourself, whereby you accept the responsibilities and you are not paying money for it, or you get experts, pay money, and get the service you require.
Excellent. The next question is, what advice would you give them about whether or not they should come?
Oh, God. How am I supposed to advise them on that? It depends on where you are coming from.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's an individual thing. Depends on where you're coming from, what you're coming to do, and your overall expectations why you are here. If you are coming to study, clearly this is a good place to study. If you have intentions to settle here, of course, this place is a good place to be. That's why we're here. The only thing is that you have to plan it so that you don't come here and get stranded. And finally, have reasonable expectation. The problem with people that come from Africa, where we do come from, and other places, that sometimes we have unreasonable expectations about what to expect here. So once you have reasonable expectations, once you have clear roadmap of how to achieve what you want to achieve, then you should be all right. And seek professional help. Do not cut corners. This is a very unforgiving system. Whatever mistake you make, you cannot erase it. You live with it. So these are just my advice.
Excellent. I've got a question here that says, with regards to landlords, can a deposit be taken and signed in agreement with the tenant that deposit will be kept and used as the last payment on leaving the property rather than registering the deposit?
No.
Okay.
That smells of all manners of trouble. The law is very clear. Deposit is for security, it's not for rent. The law is also very clear that these deposits must be secured within the approved government scheme. Anything less than that is a breach of that law, and there are consequences. Consequence one is that you cannot evict that tenant using Section 21. Consequence two is that you have to return that deposit. And the final and most draconian of the consequences is that you're exposed to a compensation of 2 to 3 times of the deposit you are holding. So if you are holding a deposit of £500, you have to return it. And then the judge will then make a decision what sanction. It could be 2 times whereby you'll be required to pay £1,000, or 3 times whereby you'll be required to pay 1,500. So it's not a good idea to try and breach this law by a contractual agreement. It's a statute. You can't contract out of the law. You have to contract within the law.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Next question is, what happens to a difficult tenant who is owing over a year's rent and keeps giving excuses for not paying?
Yes, it's a very important question, and it's one that we see more often than it used to be. Post-COVID, there are generally arrears of 1 year plus now, and it is not a good thing for landlord. There are 2 things the landlord can do. One is start the eviction process. And I'll say this, once you have a tenant that is owing rent, first month he hasn't paid, second month he hasn't paid, commence action. Don't wait, it's not gonna get better. And the problem in waiting to commence this action is that it takes time for you to have your day in court. The average waiting time from the time of sending notice to the time that the eviction happens is between 6 to 8 months. So depending on when you commence, you are going to be adding that before you get the tenant out. So the first thing and the priority for you is to get that tenant out. The second thing is to enforce whatever monies he has. This is a case that depends on whether he has it or not. If the tenant is not good for that money, clearly you can get a money order against him, which you cannot reasonably enforce. But if it is a case that the tenant has the money and for whatever reason does not think it's a good idea to pay it, once you get that money order, you can get bailiffs to chase him and get the monies from him. You can get an order to take the monies from his bank account. You can get an order to attach his earnings, that is his salary or wages from his employers. Finally, you can make him bankrupt. But for you to do that, he must have, he's owing you, I think about 7,000 or 6,000. There's a limit which he must be owing before you can actually start a bankruptcy proceeding. The good thing about bankruptcy proceeding is that, in my experience, if the tenant has that money, once that starts, he usually resets his brain and he finds the need to pay up because of the very terrible consequences of being a bankrupt. So there are things you can do to persuade him to pay. However, if you don't, in my experience, people don't pay unless you make it clear that if they don't pay, there are consequences. So I've seen instances where people will run up a bill, a rent of 1 year and just disappear. Now we have what is called tracing agents, whereby even if you disappear, there are people that will trace you. They will look at your financial details, look at, your pay slips and all that, and they will pinpoint where you are living. And based on that, you'll be served court processes, and you'll be dragged to court, and the monies will be taken from you. So it is a long process, but it is no longer the case that people will owe rent and disappear. Landlord is a business. If you live in somebody's house, it's a service. You have to pay for it. So that is what happens if someone is, or a tenant is owing rent. That is what the landlord can do.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another question has come in and it's asking, can you deduct rent owed, I believe this is owed, from the deposit whilst waiting for the court action?
Can we establish something? Leave deposits alone.
Okay. Okay.
Leave the deposit alone. It's not your money.
Okay. Now, the final question, which is a funny one, is if immigration detention is so bad, why don't people just self-deport?
All right, like you identified, it's a funny one because clearly, if where you are is better than where you are going, you probably stay where you are.
My God.
So it is an individual decision on whether where you are going is better than where you are. And again, sometimes people are in detention because they have ongoing applications. Okay? I know clients that actually seek asylum at the point of being deported. So the law requires that whatever is, if you say you'll be killed in Nigeria, you'll be killed in Ghana, UK has an obligation to investigate that claim. So while that investigation is being carried out, they will not normally grant you bail. So sometimes it is not a case of, I don't want to go, so leave me in detention. It's usually a case of, one, your application is being processed, or two, they are getting ready to deport you. To deport anyone, you would need you need some level of documentation, i.e. the passport or the emergency travel certificate. So sometimes people are there while their embassies are being approached to generate these documents. And some embassies are not very cooperative. So it might take a month, 2, 3, while that is being done. So that is why you see people spending time in detention as long as, 1 month, 2 months. And again, some people just don't want to go. There will be deportation date set for them. And then on that day, they will fight everybody and they will not go anywhere, hoping that something will change. So the simple answer to that question is, it is an individual thing. People have different reasons why they make the decisions they make. It's not a legal issue whether, people should self-deport or not.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Lawyer Kennedy. You've done justice to all the questions that we had. Can I please ask you to put your details in the chat, your email address or your website address in the chat for everyone to have that? I've put the area of your practice, but I think that people need your website.
Okay, I'll do that.
Please, can I say something, Mr.
Yes,
Femi?
go for it. Yes.
I don't know. Ken, you are immigration as well. You do immigration as well, is it?
Yes, I will do that.
Yes, I saw the list and I didn't see that as part of it. So maybe if you update, I didn't see immigration because that's how I got to know you, I must say. And let me say this, and I think I should that because for me, Ken has been my lawyer over the years. His practice, his company has helped me several times doing all sort of things. And one thing I like about is that I can bet he is those quack lawyers. I'm not saying there's any quack lawyer in there, but of course in this practice, in this world, there are people who are not genuine. But I see Ken as journey over the years. I don't want to give some detailed stuff, but some difficult cases that he helped me and Pastor through, and all that. So, yeah, I would say that if you're looking for somebody, maybe you can try him. Okay, that's what I would say. Thank you very much, Ken, for coming on.
Thank you, Pastor, and it means a lot to me that you said this. I'm flattered and honored to be of help.
Yeah, okay. Well, I know I don't get shares in this, but what I want is a tight to Dominion Center.
That will be done.
Yeah.
I thank you everyone for listening, and I wish you a very good weekend and enjoy the rest of your seminar.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Okay,
thank you.
Thank you,
bless
sir.
you.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Right.
So Lawyer Ken's details is in the chat, so please make a note of it. You never know when you might need him. His telephone number is there, and also his website address. Even if you don't think you need him, you might know someone who might use his services. So please make a note of it. Okay, we are doing excellently well. I'm so proud of Dominion Center. Our timekeeping game is moved. It really moved to another level. So we're going to the last part of the presentation, and we have Kofi Ajiman, who is going to be presenting online trading. So please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Kofi Ajiman as he takes us through online trading.
Hello, everybody. How is everyone today? I'd like some interaction in the chat box. If you are well, please put a number 1 in the group chats, just so I can see that everybody's well. Let me see in the chat box function. I see the ones. Amazing. I am very charismatic, so I like the encouragement. I want to make sure you guys are following through, and I want to make sure that you guys are understanding what I'm saying. All questions can be asked at the end. But first and foremost, thank you so much, Dominion Center. I want to honor, Pastor Samuel, for allowing me to have time to speak. Guys, can you see me well? Put a number 2 if you can see me well. Let me see if you guys can see me well. Okay, amazing. Thank you. Again, I want to give honor where honor's due. I've known Pastor Samuel for some time now, and we work well together. And I too am also in ministry. Okay, I'm an ordained minister in another church. I love God. I love people. I love you guys. But also what I'm doing, I'm in the financial services. I'm into understanding online trading. I'm an educator. I'm a trader. I'm a father of 4. I'm a husband. I'm a mentor. I'm a life coach. I do several things. But one thing I love to do is I live to add value. In the group chat, if you just write live to add value, just so I know you guys are keeping up with me. That's what I want to do. And by the time this is finished, I hope and pray that you guys have received value. Thank you. As you can see, I like you to be interactive, just so I know I'm on the right page. So again, I'm going to thank the Dominion Center for allowing me to be here. And Pastor Samuel, thank you so much. We honor you, we respect you, and we love you. Okay, so guys, I'm just going to share with you. And I'm assuming you've been here for a few hours now, so you understand where we're coming from. I want to speak about multiple streams of income. Okay, multiple streams of income. And I'm sure you've heard from property, you've heard from different various sources. But what I want us to do is write this in the comment section. Ecclesiastes, just write Ecclesiastes 11, verse 1 to 2. I'm going to start off by reading what it says. And this is in the Good News Translation. Okay, the GNT. Ecclesiastes 11, verse 1 to 2. It says, and write that in the group chat, please, so I know you're following. Thank you, Sima. Thank you, Kemi. What a wise person does. It says, invest your money in foreign trade, and one of these days you will make a profit. Again, invest your money in foreign trade, and one of these days you will make a profit. Number 2, put your investments in several places, many places even, because you never know what kind of bad luck you'll get in this world. Again, put your investments in several places, many even, because you never know what kind of bad luck you will get in this world. Now, that I want it to be our focus scripture. My mindset and our mindset should have a scripture attached to it. Whatever we do as believers, we need to make sure we're honoring the word. I want to encourage every single person. I live by the word. We should be living by the word. And this is what a wise person does. The GNT version. Number 1, invest your money in foreign trade. So what did I do, guys? I understood the foreign exchange market. I've been teaching Pastor Samuel, you may not know, the foreign exchange market. We've been learning small. But I've been a trader for over 4 years. And this is a way for us to generate income. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Let me go from... Guys, let me know if you can see my screen. Put number 1. If you can see my screen, you should be able to see the picture of one of my offices, which is in Canary Wharf. Or it's Canary Wharf. Okay, so we reside there. Now, as I said, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a minister, I'm also in the financial services, I'm a Forex trader. And meeting up with Pastor Samuel, I wanted to explain to him and teach him the world of the foreign exchange. Okay, the world in the foreign exchange is a 6.6 trillion. Please make sure you're writing notes. $6.6 trillion a day industry. Okay, $6.6 trillion a day industry. That is the foreign exchange. You see, we put our money in the banks. Now, the banks just don't keep our money. They're not keeping it safe. What they are doing, they are trading our money. Someone in the group chat write the word trading. So imagine you put in £10,000. All you really have is 1,000. They are allowed up to 90%. It's called fractional reserve banking. They are allowed to spend up to 90% of our money. They can trade that. They make profit. I'll say that again. The banks are allowed to trade up to 90% of our hard-earned money that we put in the banks. They make billions per day. Now, how much do we get a year? Ask yourself that question. And let me see in the group chat, how many do we get a year? How much do we get a year? Because what they do, they say, oh, Mr. Ajiman, we're so happy and grateful. You're doing so well. Let us offer you a loan. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a loan. Mr. Ajiman, you've been such a valued customer. So your percentage is going to be very low. Your APR is going to be very low. We get excited and we believe and buy into the hype. Mr. Ajiman, we want to offer you ISAs. Hold it on for 6 months or a year. You're going to get returns. This is what the banks are doing. As a trader, I've seen institutions manipulate the markets. In the group chat, please write the words manipulate. I'm saying this to try and set a tone that we need to understand. The Bible says to be shrewd. That means wise. We need to be shrewd. We need to be wise. We need to understand what is happening with our money, what is happening with your money. So what we need to do, remember Ecclesiastes 11 verse 1, invest in foreign trade. That's what I did. I learned the skill set of how to trade. I'm in the same world as the bankers. I'm doing the same thing that the bankers are doing. and I'm making profit. So I'm here to show you a few sources. We've got active, which is Forex trading, and I'm going to show you passive in this world, which is the crypto market. So in the group chat, please write the word active, which is Forex trading. We're actively buying and selling currencies, and the exchange rate, we're making money. And then passive, I'm going to show you cryptocurrency opportunities. Why have we put this seminar together? Because we do not want you to be unaware. The Lord does not want us to be unaware of how we can generate income. It's very well to have a job, but I'm going to say this. It's not okay to only have a job. Please write that down. It's very well to have a job, but it's not okay to only have a job. What am I saying? We need to be making sure we're investing. I've told you the scripture. We've read the scripture. Now let's act upon the scripture. Invest in foreign trade. One day we're going to buy and sell. So we have a platform that will teach you, and all questions can be asked at the end, but we have a platform that will teach you how to trade in the financial markets, the foreign exchange. We call it Forex. Now people say, oh, it's a scam. No, it's not a scam. It's when you have lack of knowledge. That's when you are scamming yourself. When you have knowledge and understanding, that's when you must apply wisdom. You know what Proverbs says? We need to be applying wisdom. And what we have is an educational platform that will teach you how to analyze the markets, how to buy and sell, how to have correct risk management. Okay? Because traders or people lose in this market because they don't understand correct risk management. And number two, they haven't dealt with their emotions. I'm keeping it real and honest. I've made a lot of money via trading. And it's because I know and understand the emotional context in regards to money. A lot of people have emotional relationships with money, and that's a problem. Write this down, please. Money should only be a resource. I'll say it again. Money should only be a resource. Money is a resource. It shouldn't be mammon. If what I'm saying makes sense, put number 7, please. Money should only be a resource. You shouldn't idolize it. And it shouldn't be mammon. I'm very passionate about this because people say to me, Kaif, money's evil. No, money's not evil. Your understanding of money is evil. And the Bible says the love of money. But when you see it as a resource, you can see it as a blessing to bless others. So let's go. If you look at the screen, it says statistics show less than 1% of the population participate in the financial markets. Is it because they don't know how to, or they don't know how they can? Okay. There's another market growing towards 1 trillion. This is setting the future stage for how everyone will handle money. Okay. So what I'm talking about right now is the move onto cryptocurrency. The move onto how cryptocurrency is being said. Like people are talking about cryptocurrency, but again, they haven't got the knowledge or understanding. Once you understand this world, you can understand how you can make money in this arena. I'll say again, once you understand this arena, you'll then be able to make money in this arena. Let me ask you a question. If you remove the first letter from the word learn, what does it say? Earn. I promise you this. Once you understand and you learn how to trade, once you learn how to invest in passive investments, you're going to start to be earning from that. I'll say it again. Once you learn how to trade and how to deal with passive investments, you're going to begin to earn from that. If that makes sense to you, put number 4, number of open in the group chat. If that's making sense to you, amazing. Okay, so what I'm going to do now with the short time I have left, I'm going to show you, 2 platforms that I'm a part of that has done very well and is doing very well. This slide says it's becoming global forms of payment. This is cryptocurrency for everyday purchases everywhere. Do not miss the boat. Do not let the ship sail without you. Start to understand the world of NFTs, cryptocurrency. Please get involved. So what I'm going to share with you now are passive investments. What I spoke to you before was active investments, which is in regards to trading. At the end of this presentation, I'll just show you quickly my charts of how I make money in the financial markets. But I want to spend a bit more time talking about passive. Why? Because I know a lot of people are busy. They've got kids. They are busy here and busy there. But you need to make your money be working for you. Yes or yes? We need our money to be working for us. Yes or yes? This is why I want to spend time on passive investments. Let's have a look. So take a screenshot of this, please. This is called PLC Ultima. Take a screenshot so you can see one of the platforms I'm representing and that I'm with. Now, what you see here is an innovative blockchain project. Been running for 6 years. We have over 1.1 million users, 11 projects going on at this time, 4 offices. Again, take a screenshot. So this is one of the platforms that I'm working with and partnering up with. Now, let me quickly say this as a caveat. I'm not a financial advisor, okay? If you want advice, seek financial counsel. But what I am is someone who's currently doing something and doing it very, very well. Please write this down. When it comes to investments, write this down, please. Invest what you are willing to lose. I want to see that in the group chat, please. Invest what you're willing to lose. Invest what you're willing to lose. Now, thank you. I see Sema has written that. Thank you very much. Invest only what you're willing to lose. The reason I'm saying this is because when you become a serial entrepreneur, a serial investor like myself, you understand the world of investing. What I've heard from so many people is this: Kofi, oh, I've lost money. Kofi, I put life savings in. Kofi, oh, my mother will kill me. Huh? Because you have not used wisdom. The Bible says to be shrewd. That means to be wise. People are not utilizing wisdom and they're chasing after mammon. You see, God says when he blesses us, there'll be no sorrow attached. There should be no sorrow attached. So when you are investing, you should have the mindset, I'm only going to invest what I'm willing to lose. And write this down, because 3 out of 10 investments will work. But the ones that work, oh, when they work, you'll be enjoying. If that makes sense, put number 5 in number of grace. If that makes sense, to invest only what you're willing to lose. Because once we understand that firm foundation, you will be happy to invest. And let me tell you something. God says, be fruitful and multiply. If we read Matthew 25, verse 15, it stipulates, you know the scripture. When the servant and the master, and there's 3 of them, and at once they went and traded And it says they came back with more profit. One came back with what the one was given 5 talents and came back with 10. And you know the story. I don't want to go too far. This is not a Bible study, but you understand the one that had 5 came back with 10. The master says, well done, my good and faithful servant. Let's be clear on that. The one that had 2 came back with 4. Well done, my good and faithful servant. And the one that had 1, the master said, you wicked and perverse generation. That is the people that hold on to their money. Am I talking to you? Are you that person that holds on to your money and is scared? Because you will be that person that digs your money in the ground. And then the master will say, you wicked and perverse. Please go and read the scripture. This is not me. This is not Brother Kofi Ajimai. This is Bible. God wants us to be able to understand that money is a resource and we have to let it go. Because he wants to give us 5 so it comes back with 10. That's how you multiply. So I want that to be clear. If that has made sense, the understanding of letting go of your money to make more money, put a number 3, please. If that has made sense, to let go of your money to make more. I'm saying that because me as a believer, you as a believer, the hardest people that I see struggling are believers because they don't believe. Oh, I'm scared. You're scared to let go when the Bible commands to let go. Be fruitful and multiply. So now I've said that, I hope we're clear. All right, let's have a look at this. The future of money is digital currency, exchange, banknotes, coins, checks, plastic cards, mobile payment. Look at it, online banking. You've seen how we progressed. Now, the digital platform, the digital currency is the rage right now. This is what everyone's doing. Again, what we're going to teach you is wisdom. We're going to teach you how to do it safely and also understanding about investment. You see, this one of the 6 laws of what to do with money, 10% of your income you should be investing. Do you know about the 6 laws? The first, I'm not going to go through it all. The first law, pay tithes. I'm talking to someone. The first law of your income money is pay God. Pay 10% of your income to tithes. Pay 10% to yourself. Pay yourself. You can save that money. You can spend that money. That's your enjoyment. Pay 10%. I won't do the rest. But one of the last 10% you should be investing. Why? Because you need to let go of money to make money. So this platform, in essence, what this platform does, PLCU, is we have a more effective way of mining. We are minting coins. In layman's term, what we're doing, you purchase a coin, you purchase a farm. Now, the farm holds the coin. Now, as you hold the coin, it begins to mint the coin. So you're producing more in the market. So now you are becoming your own bank. Please hear me. You are becoming your own bank. You have a farm, you have a coin. You are making the two connect together and you're now minting it. Okay? So let me just, break down. So PLCU, you purchase a crypto coin. Now, as a community, we mint it to increase the supply. This increases the supply of the coin. So there's something in economics called supply and demand. By minting the coin, you're now increasing the supply of the coin. The company, which is what I love about the company, have implemented a max load to ensure there's a steady increase. You see, in the financial sector, and especially in the crypto world, okay, what is minting? At the end, we'll answer this question. In the financial world, in the crypto space, people love to pump and dump. That means they chuck money into a project, it goes sky high, and then the big whales, people with billions, will then sell it, and then it crashes. But with this platform, we put a max load. What does a max load mean? You can only purchase a certain amount of coins, right? So this is a ceiling. But me, one person, I can only purchase a certain amount. That means I can't just put however much I want into the market to then sell it. This is a regulated thing. Okay. So in essence, you as a customer or consumer, you will purchase a farm, purchase a coin, you put the coin in the farm, and then what that's going to do is generate a smart contract. Now, I know someone's asking, Brother Kofi, what's a smart contract? A smart contract allows the customer to have confidence that you will get paid each and every month. So what happens is the smart contract comes onto the blockchain and then it's regulated. Okay, nothing to do with the company. It's now from the blockchain. In essence, what am I saying? You get paid each month. So customer, you get coin, you get a farm. You put the coin to the farm, it then begins to mint it. It then increases the supply of the coin. The coin's going to rise up, meaning you're going to generate more profits. Okay. I'm just going to kind of rush through this because I know there might be 1,001 questions because this is probably a brand new space. But all I want to say to you is that when you invest in something like this, a project like this, understand you're going to generate income. So as you have an income for your job, you have the opportunity to generate another income, an additional source of income from this particular project. I'm only referring to projects that I'm personally in and projects that are doing very, very well and generating income. Okay. And again, Pastor Samuel only wants me to recommend things that are doing well for his community. Now you have the opportunity to say yes or no. It is your choice. Okay. But we want to share with you opportunities that are doing very, very well. Okay. Another platform that I'm a part of that I want to discuss with you is something called Hyperverse. Now, Hyperverse, it's about spreading the good news and growing the community. Okay, phase one. Take a screenshot of this, please. Together, we build a membership-based blockchain community where we all benefit daily. All right. Phase two, we explore the Hyperverse ecosystem for free. Phase three, we take advantage of optional offerings throughout the Hyperverse ecosystem as they rolled out. Right. So first one was PLCU. This one is now something called Hyperverse. What we have done, this is a blockchain community, again in the crypto space, whereby you're getting up to 0.3% per day returned back to you. I'll say it again, 0.3% per day. This is longevity. This is for long-term investment. You have the opportunity with something like this to deposit like 400 USDT, which is dollars, and then it 4x is your money. I'll say 4x, yeah, 4x. So 4 times 4, you get 1,600 USDT back. Now that's rolled out to you through 0.3% per day. So Hyperverse is something whereby it's over the long term. So again, this is you releasing money from your hands and saying, you know what, for the next 2 years, for the next 3 years, I'm going to generate an income. I'm going to generate rewards. Because what it is, this is being generated as reward system, which you then convert into crypto. I don't want to go into the details of this as it's very technical, but again, I'll allow you to ask me questions. My point is, ladies and gentlemen, I've shown you 3 ways. Let me stop sharing. I've shown you 3 ways. Actually, let me share my screen again just to show you the Forex side. Give me 1 second. Let me see if you can see my chart. Can you see my... Put a number One, if you can see my chart. It's a trading chart with lines and candles. Let me see if you can see my chart at number one. Oh, I can't see the chat box. Oh, you can. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Right. This is what I was talking about in regards to trading. Now, trading, I made a lot of money simply because of the knowledge I've acquired. And what we want to show you is how to get the same knowledge. Okay, so I wanted to show you that chart so you can understand trading. Again, you might have a lot of questions that I'm going to allow you to ask me now. But I just want to give you a summary. So today, I have spoken to you in regards to understanding what the word says. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 1 to 2. Invest in foreign trade, for one day you shall make a profit. Number 2, put your money in several places, many even, or you never know what bad luck you might have in this world. We've discussed and understood that the Lord wants us to be fruitful and to multiply. We've looked at Matthew 25, even though I touched it briefly, the parable of the talents. He wants us to let go to multiply. And the one that had 5 talents came back with 10. And the one that had 1 talent, the master said, "You wicked and perverse generation." The one that had 5 that came back with 10, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." I'm saying all of this stuff to say, because I feel like I have a mandate to speak to believers, to reassure us that we need to come out of the monotony of the struggle. We need to come out of the monotony of the struggle. We need to come out of the monotony of the mundane, day to day, paycheck to paycheck. I was able, through these opportunities, to quit my job in 2019. That now I wake up when I want to. I do what I want to do. I have time to spend with my kids, because I want to say something to every single person. People say time is money. That's a lie. Time is not money at all. And let me tell you why. You cannot compare time to money. You cannot do that. Money you can always get. But when time is up, it's up. So we need to find ways to redeem our time back. So having said that, I spoke to you about the foreign exchange. We have platforms that teach you how to learn the skill. Okay, so our platforms will teach you how to learn the skill. Number 2, I spoke to you about PLCU, which is a platform that you purchase a farm, you get coins, you put the coins in the farm, you're now minting that, creating a supply. The coin will increase. You're getting paid from a smart contract. That means every month from the day you start, you generate an income. Number 3, spoke to you about the hyperverse, whereby it's a passive opportunity investment, or let's say it's a reward program, which you change the rewards into cryptocurrency, but you can generate an income from it. Okay, so you put in a deposit of whatever number you want. There's certain packages you can buy. It will then 4x it. Now your money will be, or your deposit will be 4x'd. However, it will be released back to you as 0.3% per day. So this is a long-term project. Again, these things are very, very powerful. These things have changed my life. And I believe if you want to partner up with what I'm doing, what we are doing here at the Dominion Center, it will change your life as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, guys, I hope you got value from my short section. I hope you've understood. Now I'm going to open up the floor for you guys to ask me as many questions as you want. And I pray I'll be able to deliver and answer your questions well. So that is it from me.
Thank you so much, Minister Kofi.
Thank you, sir.
I like how you kept it really interactive with the activities in the chat. That's a very good one. Keep people alert.
Yeah.
Now, there's some questions in the chat. I don't know, I'll read it out for you. The first one that you mentioned earlier on is, what is, I think they mean mining or minting?
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to try and make it a simple thing, or I'll try and say it in layman's terms. So minting is producing. Okay, we are producing more coins in the market. We are now the producer. So for coin price to increase, there has to be buyers and sellers. But what we're doing with this particular project, we are producing more of this coin called the Ultima, which is going to raise price, which then allows everyone to get paid. Instead of just depositing money or investing money in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Luna, you are now becoming your own bank where you are producing the coin called Ultima. We are producing it, and then we are now starting to see the coin price rise up, which means we're going to generate an income from the blockchain. This is a contract. Every single month, it's a 12-month contract. This project is running for 3 years. So every single month, you will be getting something. You'll be getting sika. Oh, I'm Tree, by the way. I'm learning my Ghanaian. You'll be making money every single month. There'll be a return, guaranteed every single month from the day you start to the end of the contract. Okay. Right. Does that answer the question? That's what minting is. You are producing. Yeah, you are producing the coin. You're like the greenhouse, making plants. You put the seed in, we're producing the tree. That makes sense.
Excellent. Thank you. The next question is, the financial market works on supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're mining blockchain coin to increase its supply of the coin,
Mm-hmm.
So if supply exceeds demand, the value would drop. So how does this work? Or have you got this incorrect, or have I got this incorrect?
No. What he said is perfect, correct. And this is what I love about this platform. We introduce something called max load. So guess what? The problem is the platform is introducing a max. So you can, if I come in and you come in, we can only purchase a certain amount. So the platform is then able to regulate how much is being bought, how much is being sold. So we're able to regulate. So there's a steady increase, a steady increment. Because what happens is if Minister Femi, yourself, if you bring in 100 million,
yeah,
you got full control. You've just made the coin rise. And then again, if there's not enough demand, it's going to tank and sink. But once there's a max load, you can only come in with a certain amount. I can only come with a certain amount. So therefore, we're controlling how price is now rising. This is what I love about this project. It's not like the typical, the Bitcoin just dropped or Luna just tumbled. We are in control. For community as a platform. We're following their guidelines, which is giving us, safety in that it's becoming a contract. So for example, if you get a farm and get in a coin, you'll get 0.02 PLCU per month, guaranteed. And then the coin increases, and yes, there'll be pullbacks, but it won't be like this. It might be up and a bit down, but we are guaranteed income each and every month for a whole solid year. We've got 2.5 years left of this current project. It's 3 years. And if you reinvest the next month, or you can take out the money, you can reinvest it. You can even get a PLCU card and use it like that. It's up to you what you want to do. But if you want to do that every month and reinvest it and reinvest and reinvest and reinvest, you're now starting another 12-month contract. So, it's very, very good. I hope I kind of answered that question. There's a max load, basically. We can't just pump and dump it. That's what I mean. You can't, it's not just tank, because we're trying to control, or the company's trying to regulate how much by applying a max load on each consumer.
Excellent. The next question I guess they're asking for where they can see some presentations, is kindly tell us how to gradually gain the in-depth knowledge about these opportunities so we can make an informed decision without regret.
Yes. Can I say something, Kofi? I think that is okay. Anyway, that's what Kofi. I think I don't know what Kofi is going to say, but then that is why we want to do something exclusively for our members. Okay, so there'll be, I think there's a provision of an email address or something that people can, because I realize that there are a lot of things that I say, for me, I don't understand fully this thing. So I'm learning every day. Like I've learned something today, Kofi. But I think there should be training for people that people will understand this presentation. So there'll be, I think there's an email address that is available that people can put in there, and then we can do something that people can, understand. So, I mean, I don't know what you have to say.
Yeah, so that's Pastor Sam, thank you so much. The hardest thing about this, because it's such a condensed time, is very hard to really break down the nitty-gritty of blockchain technology, the nitty-gritty of cryptocurrency. Okay, so this is why I just kind of brushed over it all for to see where there's going to be a supply and demand of interest, and then we can collate together, and then I can do a whole separate presentation about one company and a whole separate presentation about another company, because I've been studying for 4 years. So to break it down in half an hour is very, very difficult. But what I love is that if you have the hunger and you have the desire, I will definitely spend more time and really break down to you how it works. And in regards to the knowledge of cryptocurrency, again, one of our platforms will teach you. There's 3 platforms here. There's 3 different companies. There's PLCU, there's Hyperverse, and there's a company called IM I'm a part of that will teach you all the education. This one, IM, will teach you the education at a cost, obviously a monthly subscription, but it will teach you the education. Now, I want to say to people, once you are educated, the money you will make. And I'm saying that to say about learning about personal development and investing in yourself. People don't want to invest in this thing. They don't want to invest in their mind and knowledge. So we will teach you the A, the B, the C, the D, the E, the F.
Excellent. Okay, the next question is saying here, I believe, is this the best time to trade due to the Ukraine and Russia war?
My personal strategy, it doesn't matter what the market is saying, because I'm a technical analysis trader. So I go by technical charts. So the chart I showed you, I go by indications on the chart. So I'm not a fundamental trader. So a fundamental trader is basically the news. So the news says this, you trade that way. I observe the market. So once you learn a strategy, you are good to go. Well, the strategy that I know, I can only speak on my strategy. Once you understand the strategy, or for example, if I was to teach you, or the platform I belong to teach you, then you can make money all day, every day. Like even if you trade crypto Monday to Sunday, okay, it's just about you understanding the skill set, okay? It's just about you understanding. So in short answer, no, the Ukraine-Russia does not affect trading if you are learning a specific strategy like the one that I have or the one that my platform shares. It doesn't affect it. That's the trading.
Excellent. Next question, tax on these investment stroke returns. What do we need to know?
Oh, you got to pay tax on everything. So it simply just be capital gains tax. It depends on what it is. If it's Forex, hey, you are free. You don't have to pay no money on Forex trading in the UK. You know, if you have another job, so if you have a 9 to 5 and you're trading on the side, you do not need to pay any tax on Forex trading in the UK currently. Other countries, yes, but in the UK, you do not have to pay any tax. Cryptocurrency trading is slightly different, and in the investment side, it's classed as capital gains. Okay, so you'll be paying capital gains tax on any profit that you make. But the trading, oh, it's free. I'm enjoying.
Okay. Next question. Considering the recent huge crypto crash, did this affect your Ultima value, or was this coin insulated from the crash?
It was insulated because of the max load.
Okay.
So insulated because of the max load.
Okay. Next question is, how much minimum can I put into the minting? I think when we have that exclusive meeting, that could be addressed, or maybe you just want to touch on it briefly. Maybe
I'll show you all the packages. There's a whole bunch of different packages from,
yeah.
Basic level is like $122 for the farm, and then you can put in $200 for the coins. Okay, so it's about $220. That's about £180. Okay.
Okay.
The income you're going to generate is going to be small, but you can put in 20,000, 40,000. It's up to you. But we can explain that in another Zoom, really in depth with the packages, etc., etc.
Okay, excellent. Next question. Is this community regulated by the FCA?
Okay. Regulations. So when it comes to cryptocurrency, it's DeFi, deregulated finance. But with DeFi, that's why I'm saying you have to do your own due diligence. Remember what I said at the beginning? Invest only in what you're willing to lose. You have to do your own due diligence in regards to crypto. However, with this particular opportunity, we have a smart contract that protects you because it's a contract. So you're guaranteed to get it every single month, once a month until the end of your contract. But crypto as a whole, it's deregulated. Okay, but with deregulated, the blessings about it, we don't have to go to an intermediary. It's between me and you. It doesn't have to go through this one to look at your profile picture to say no access denied. So there's blessings in regards to the cryptocurrency space by it being deregulated.
Excellent. Next question. What is the tax implications on these earnings? Do we receive the monthly earning into our bank accounts?
Yeah. So again, that's going to be for another time. But what you do, monthly earnings will come in the PLCU. You will then convert it into USD Tether, which is dollars, and then you can send it to your bank in pounds.
Excellent.
And then exactly same thing, you have to work out your own tax.
Yeah. Okay. Someone asked about how much can they invest. That would be addressed when the meeting is held for a more detailed presentation. How much time, that is weekly, monthly, etc., do you recommend one dedicates towards monitoring and adjusting their passive investment portfolio?
Okay, let me give you a generic answer. Every day, you should know where your money is. Every single day. For example, I know how much is in my Skrill account, my HSBC account, my rewards card, my crypto.com. I know all my investments. We are not to be, a lot of people leave their money with financial advisors who are then scamming them. Oh, look at some basketball players, there's millionaires, multi-millionaires that lost 21 million because their financial advisors were dealing with their account. No, we should know where every penny is. Please be shrewd. That's point number one. Point number two, this, I believe, as a believer and as just an ordinary person, we should be training to understand the role of money every day. Because a lot of us have been duped because we do not understand how money works and how money operates. And we believe we only should have a job. Nowhere in the Bible does it advocate for jobs. I don't want to touch anyone's nerves, but nowhere in the Bible does it advocate for jobs. The only places where you saw jobs were by slaves or by soldiers. Everyone else had a business. Everyone else had a business. They were entrepreneurs. Okay, so that's another training on mindset and changing our mindset from, job and understanding your purpose. Okay, so no, I hope I haven't gone left. Sorry, sometimes.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, the next question is, tradition streams of income versus crypto new age, which trumps?
I will say this. You should invest in several places, many even. So that simply means diversify your portfolio in property, in traditional business, in crypto, in currencies. So for me, I diversify my portfolio. Okay, I really want to be clear because I don't want to compare. Me personally, being biased, I've made a lot of money in digital currencies and currencies. I've made a lot of money from that versus traditional. But I'm also looking to invest in traditional businesses as well. I don't ever want to say, oh, this is wrong. And no. So I would always say, invest in several places. You can make money in both spaces once you understand what you're doing.
Excellent. Next question is, which crypto have you invested in specifically?
Oh, I'm in
It's personal, but yeah.
Personal. I'm in Bitcoin, but guess what? I'm making money on Bitcoin. Everyone else is losing. Because I'm a trader, I knew when to buy. So when everyone's panicking, they're running away. Oh, it's tank. Because I'm a trader, I knew when to get in. So I've got in at a very low price. So right now, my BTC is in profit. Okay. You buy low, you sell high. You sell from the top, you buy low. Okay. So that is
excellent.
so the PLC.
You've mentioned this, you've covered this already, but let me just ask again for the person's mind to be at rest. Do you invest in stocks too by any chance?
Me personally, no. I'm more in the crypto space as well as the currency, which is Forex, like pound, yen, GBP, USD, GU, so that's pound sterling and US dollar. I'm more with, currencies than stocks and investments, or stocks and shares, shall I say. But once you learn how to trade, you can trade either or. Doesn't really make a difference. It's the skill set.
Okay, excellent. Someone has asked another question here, but I think that would be addressed when people show their interest. Mm-hmm. So what Richard is going to do now, he will post the form in the chat. If you're interested to attend a private meeting to get more information about what Minister Kofi has presented, please click on there, furnish us with that information, then we would go from there. Oh, you've done it as well. Excellent. So that's the information there. So just please click on it, and then we'll contact you and let you know when the meeting would be. But thank you so much, Minister Kofi, for this excellent presentation and keeping us all engaged and alert. I'm sure a lot of people would be providing the information for us to take this further. Thank you so much. Right now, I'm going to ask Pastor Sam. Thank you. I'm going to ask Kofi. Pastor Sam.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Femi. And thank you very much, Kofi. Your time and everything. Appreciate that very much. When people show interest, we'll gather the names together, and then we can have a seminar together with you and your team, and then get things going. And so thank you. Is there anything you want to say before you go, Kofi?
I just want to say, someone's saying the link is not found. So some person called Kezia has said the link is not found. So make sure that link is active, Pastor Sam. All I'm going to say is thank you so much. In this short time, I hope I've given value. I hope that, something has shifted in the paradigm. And I just want to encourage us all that biblical wealth is for everyone. Please. And we shouldn't, and I know we're all here on this call, so I know we believe, but we just need to begin to action what God has already said. God's chosen people, the Jewish, they are manifesting what he's already spoken. And us who've been grafted in, we need to be manifesting the same thing. We need to physically see what he has said. So all these opportunities, please, please, please do not Do not be afraid. Understand the principles and get involved for you to begin to start to see your mindset change and your income also change. Pastor Sam, thank you so much. Dominion Center.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Kofi. Richard, please make sure that everybody gets this form, and people who are interested, if you can do that quickly. I've seen some people have already registered on it, so that we can get you, so that you will not say that you didn't know about it. If you are finding difficulty in doing that, let us know. Either you can maybe give it to Minister Femi, myself, or Richard. Okay,
please click on the link from Dominion Center. That's the correct link. I think the one from Minister Kofi was missing a few things. That's why it wasn't going through.
Okay.
Like the last digit was missing, but if you click on the Dominion Center one, it goes through. So if you please just want to do that now.
Okay, everybody should do that. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for coming today, this afternoon. And God bless you. I hope we have added value to your life. And every speaker today gave you something that you go and work with. And you remember that you walk in dominion every day. Okay. We're meeting tomorrow for our service. Please do come. Let us celebrate the Lord together. Let's thank God for everything. And, I pray that Liverpool win today. I beg you, we need to get this done. Okay. So I appreciate you very much. Mr. Femi, I hand over to you. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, because Liverpool, I'm not really a football person.
Please.
But because Liverpool is an English club, I haven't decided to wear this for Liverpool.
All right. Okay.
I'm wearing red for you today. So all the best to Liverpool.
All right. Okay. Okay. Now tomorrow, people should come also with your brown envelopes. They've taken already. All that, collect everything. Let's pray and believe God. Let's come have a celebration together. Let us intentionally thank God what He's done for us. All right. God bless.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Sam and Pastor Betty, for putting this together. Thank you, everyone, for staying the course. We appreciate you. And we're just going to wrap this up. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your goodness. Thank you for your grace. We thank you for the things that we've received today, Lord God, the things that resonate with us. We thank you and we bless you for giving us the grace to carry these things out. Thank you for the speakers. Thank you for everything that we've received. We bless you and we honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. God bless you. I think we can open up for everyone to say bye to each other.
Yeah,
if you want
bye-bye.
To do that, please, Richard.
Bye-bye. Thank you very, very much. Okay. Make sure you
bye,
register.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Make sure you register, please, so you'll not be left out. Don't forget that one. We'll make sure we contact all of you.
Richard, can you please unmute everyone and allow them to say bye? Let's say bye to each other, please. Thank you. Before we leave, Richard, unmute everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
you love me. Honor in this house. Are you ready? How much does he love you? Jesus, you love me too much. Too much. You love me. You love me. You love me. When we say, Jesus, you love me too much. You love me. 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 Oh, we declare, Jesus, you love me too much. You love me. 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 Jesus, you love me too much. You love me. You love me. Grab something and wave all over this place.